G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined by Algared. How you doing, buddy?
Fairly well. I'm
Right.
alive.
We're now streaming to British people. I'm getting harassed by Pisspoor Pete for not starting on time. We're 4 minutes late. It's thunder and lightning down here where I am at the moment. The cats
If
are
our stream drops, you know why.
Yeah. Well, the cats are in here with me because the windows are rattling and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a little off-putting. So yeah. Right. Yep. One ring to... What is it? No, one ship to rule them all, not one ring.
One ship to rule them. You're stuck in Lord of the Rings, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful that you're showing your attention to Lord of the Rings and literature.
Well,
I love that.
I actually had to call Algared up for help with the title because I couldn't actually think of one properly. So I got Algared actually came up with this one, which is one ship to rule them all. So I thought it was very clever.
He was stuck on Took.
Yes. Right, I'm going to do some background stuff, Algared. Get ourselves sorted as usual. Get the.
Meanwhile, I try to get Twitch to work for me, and there it finally goes.
Okay, right.
Mute that. Okay. So I've now got Twitch chat up. I can now see the Twitch chat. That's a good thing. I can see our YouTube chat.
Yep. Cool.
And I'll just keep talking and babbling while you take care of the other stuff and arrange the question window.
I've just got to do the bot and then I'm done.
Yep. And we've got half a dozen questions. We were going to do the Q&A for the Paragan.
You want to do those first, or you want to do you want to do it in a different order? Is that what you're telling me?
No. That was the order we were going to do them. If you aren't free to pull them up at the moment, we can do the questions that came out of our Paragan video and then flow into those questions from the Q&A. So, I'm easy either way.
I'll open it now. Just give me a sec.
All right.
I was.
So we're going to discuss the Q&A questions that came up, and then we'll do some of the questions or comments that came out of our initial thoughts on the Paragan.
No, I've actually just remembered something that I think we should do first.
Yeah.
Where the hell did the Q&A go? It was right here. They moved it on me. Wait, the Hunter's on? Algared, they're bringing back the F8 Lightning again.
Yes, because I'm guessing they're doing that because of the ship Showdown.
Right. So this was brought to my attention by Pissed Off Pete, but I believe it was brought to someone else brought it to his attention. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, where was it? Because you're going to have kittens when you figure out what it is. And it was just on the screen right then, but we're going to play it again. So in the latest trailer, and I think this will be really cool for a lot of people to see. I just got to go onto the YouTube. Give us a second here. There's going to be some sound. I'm going to mute it because I don't want to listen to that vanity anymore. Yeah. So by the 30-second mark, tell me if you saw it or not. All right. So you're looking in the background. There's your clue. Just keep looking in the background and see if you see anything of interest. And if you miss it,
I'll probably miss it.
Yeah.
But
right, I'm going to stop it here because we don't have to do 30 seconds. But you did miss it.
The in space no one can hear you screen box.
Nope. It's just before. Believe that it's just before that.
Okay. So the egg caught.
It's this scene right here. You see it yet?
Okay.
Have a look and tell me if you see it or not.
Not sure. No, I'm going to say no.
All right, I'm gonna turn it down and get it. Just give me a second.
And when you zoom in, I'll probably go, oh, of course.
Yeah, when you see it, you're gonna have kittens. I know you're gonna have kittens because I know you well enough to know. All right, so I've turned it down to the slower speed.
Oh, but it does look like there's decorations put in there.
All right, I have to actually go backwards. All right, hang on. All right, on the far right-hand side of the screen has a number 8 on it.
Yep.
Can you see it now?
Far right-hand side of the screen is the 8, yep.
Yeah, what is got the 8 on it? Can you see what it is? Like the entire thing. What is the entire thing?
Looks like a door. or a lift, or I don't know.
It's a turbo loader. It's from the get away from her, you bitch. It's
all right. Yes, side on view. Yes,
it's a power loader, literally from Aliens.
I can see it now. I wasn't looking. I've seen that as just part of the door, just because of its small screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, you're watching my stream, but yeah. Pissed Off Pete linked that to me yesterday. And I
needed to zoom in on it for me to get it. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He sent me stuff like this. Like I can probably open what he sent me. Hang on. As long as I remove all the nudes, no. Yeah. So he sent me kind of this that made it blaringly obvious because it was like zoomed in, and then he actually someone had gone to the trouble and actually got a blown up version. So it is very.
Yeah. Well, had I seen that, I would have been it's a turbo loader.
Yeah.
and then that alien egg is kind of also the other throwaway, which kind of again draws attention to that.
Actually, I didn't actually pick up on that. Now you mentioned the egg afterwards. Yeah, that is a bit of a tip of the hat. Actually, now I think about it. Yeah. So yeah, they've definitely been working on Titan suits at some point this year. Oh. So I am now expecting Titan suits. This is kind of, I don't know about anyone else. Like,
is this our promised what have I got? The promised cutter.
Maybe in name only, we'll see. But I put that back to Pissed Off Pete. Do you think this is what we're going to see at CitizenCon, mate? Based on seeing this, and it only being 40 days now. So yeah, I'll put that back to you, Pete. Let us know in the chat. Yeah, what do you guys think? I think that's undeniable. Like it's official CIG stuff. Like I don't think you can say that, and it's in game, no less.
Yeah.
So. And that's the trailer for the patch. So I kind of go, does that mean it's already in? It hasn't been unlocked yet. It hasn't been sold yet. Like that's where my brain starts to go to crazy town. So yeah.
Is this the is this the cutter for the for Reclaimer? To me, I really hope it is. Yeah. Like I know it's not a ship, but. To me, for Reclaimer, where they went for the Nostromo vibes, full on, it's just begging to be there. It's just begging to be part of the Reclaimer's equipment.
Yeah.
Give it a blowtorch.
Real quick, someone's saying that they hope they don't give it a tractor beam. One of the things me and Algared have talked about at length is different tech levels, right? And we actually reckon they're like, why are there hand trolleys for moving cargo when there are tractor beams? And that's because there's going to be different technological levels. Like there might be areas where tractor beams just don't work, as an example, right? So we're kind of expecting when it comes to Titan suits, it'll be the same thing. Like the Drake one might run on fuel and spit fumes and have cogs and stuff like that. But where the Origin one, and I'm not saying they're going to make Origin and Drake, but I'm just using them as an example. But the Origin one probably runs on batteries and is like an EV, but the difference is someone can run up and stab a stick in the Drake and stop it, but also an EMP can take out the battery one, but it can't take out because the other one doesn't have electronic parts. So there are plus and minuses to both in different environments and probably everything in between.
Now, interesting point. It's Socially Confused on YouTube says there are no hands or claws on that thing. Though they're raising the question, hopefully no tractor beams. It could have interchangeable parts. I'd love to see it have a claw and the torch, or even just the torch for cutting torch, because that way my memory is, Ripley's tool did have the cutting torch on it, so I could just be misremembering my lore. Yeah. But if it does, that would actually make that a cutter.
Yep.
And I just really hope.
Well, it kind of makes sense to bring this in around about now, like a cargo one, and I'll tell you why. And I know you'll agree with me. We've just got the cargo patch drop. What's the next part to roll up to the? What's tier? If this is tier 1 or tier 0, what's the next level? Different types of cargo loading and unloading. Because I can tell you now, if you've done it, it can take up to an hour with the tractor beam at the moment to just load one ship, and then you drive 5 minutes, and then you've got to literally unload it again. So we now need that's the next step, is the different loading and unloading tools, and this is going to be one of them, clearly. And you know why, because it's the power loader, and everyone's had that fantasy of being in there, and I have no doubt at some point some sucker in this game is going to have to fight a bit, I can imagine this versus the Imperial Stalker as an example. It just, like, one breaks free of ship and some poor cargo smuck has to fight it in this thing. It'd be funny as.
And you'll hear, I can imagine, multiple lines. It'll be a bit like
I'm just going to do
Jenkins,
that cable's come loose again, Algared, from the other day. Hold on.
But it'll be a bit like, Leroy Jenkins, bat, get away from her, you bitch, that type of thing. That's going to be the meme that, it's overdone, but everyone will do it because what scares me is that xenomorph egg type container.
Yep.
Are we getting a xenomorph or a bigger one?
I think eventually we will.
But yeah, it is a very interesting.
Now, the more you say it, the now it makes sense, because it says in space no one can hear you sing, but the line from Aliens is in space no one can hear you. It actually makes perfect sense now. Like, you're tying two and two together, and at the time, if you look at the following screen, it didn't kind of resonate. But now in the scene before, there's literally a Titan suit. Man,
yeah,
woo. Cool times at CitizenCon coming. Yeah, I need to get this off to Board Gamer quickly. He's gonna have kittens because he's a big. He talks about Titan suits to no end. So I'll shoot that off to him on Twitter. If someone hasn't, I'll do it in a little bit.
Aurelius Nomadus says 7 weeks, and we will drink beer.
Sweet.
Awesome.
I'm not really a beer drinker, but yeah, sure. Oh dear. Oh, now I'm snorting. Oh, that is how I know I'm tired. Whoa.
Anyway, so while you get that off the Board Gamer, because I'm sure he'll, if he hasn't already been sent it, he's probably been spammed by a dozen people.
Yeah.
Yes, at Lynx, we do occasionally try to grab questions. Certainly if we do a premiere, I usually grab questions out of there. But sometimes I look at our videos from a week and I look at the comments and I go, oh yeah, that looks like an interesting comment or an interesting question. I pull them out for us to give us something to chew over while we wait for questions from the chat to come in. But we've also got the Q&A from the not the Raven, the Paragan to come out. I did notice several people in chat also complained about your pronunciation of Paragon and my pronunciation of Paragon.
Oh, so, here we go. What have we done now? How we spelled it or how we said it?
Well, how we say it. You do it with a D.
Oh, great.
Or so you butcher it, and I get pulled up for rolling the R for Paragon. Yeah. Suck it up. Get used to it. We've each got our foibles. So you're not the only one who was getting picked up for your pronunciation.
What are you doing, dirty boy? No, look, what are you...
He's talking to a cat, by the way, if you're wondering.
What are you doing?
So while you get those questions up...
Sit there. Sorry, I'm being attacked.
While you dig up and find the
You having a senior moment? What's going on?
I am having a senior moment.
Right.
The YouTube Board Gamer. While you take care of senior Board Gamer
all done.
And pull up the Q&A questions for the Paragon. Our first question came out of our Paragon video.
Before you move on, you remember how we were going told off about the different pronunciations? I still get a lot. Every stream I go on to Pissball Pete, he goes, Cyan! Every time. He was telling me how, this is the best story ever. This is how I live in his head rent free, right? He was telling me how he was literally sitting on the toilet for like an hour going, Cyan! How does he say that? He's like, Cyan! And he's just trying to understand how I say it. And look how he spells it in Twitch chat. That's how he thinks we say it. Cyan!
So, and Vashor, Vasorkri, Vasorkri, or how are you going to say your name? I'm sorry, I butchered it. $2 super chat. Hey, I called it the overpriced parallelogram. I think he's talking about the...
Paragan 2. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, yes, that too.
Yes.
Yes, it is an overpriced parallelogram. It is... Yeah, I can't get through that. To me, it's...
Yeah.
To me, it is... I think it is worse than a steal. People did take me to task on that and say that's a bit harsh. But yeah. So first comment from our video was, I'm curious if a QED variant infringed on the Intel contract too much and they were forced to make a change. So I thought that was an interesting comment, one that we probably hadn't really discussed or thought about. And I thought, oh yeah, if they'd been planning it and they thought, it's too close, they may have been forced to pull back.
I can see the thinking in that, but it does have the foils and stuff on it. Like it is signature racing things that we've seen in the last 12 months. So ever since the Razer X LX came along, anytime we see fins or spoilers or there's a whole bunch of little things we see, it's like they kind of know that the racing ships just don't have enough, so they're giving this coolness factor.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that came up in the Q&A, but it was really cool. Now, when we were looking at the Zeus ST the other week, and we were saying, it's got the racing foil and the fins.
Yeah.
And I swear people would have said, "Oh, we're off our rocker." It's just really cool. But then when you look at the Peregrine, what do you get at the back? Those two, it's almost the same format. Those two.
Well, you get two fins and two spoilers. They're the most predominant things on the entire thing. Yeah.
And so, as you were saying, they are just big call outs. Whenever you see that, you got this almost. Yeah, it's a racer. So 350, 85Xs.
Do you literally want to go through every question in this, or is there just particular ones you want to look at? Specifically,
I would have. There was one that I saw that asked about the how fast it in terms of a lateral and the vertical lift.
Oh yeah, because we talked about this last night. Yep.
Because according to the testing, that's different. But I couldn't tell you which questions they are because I didn't pay attention to which questions.
You haven't done your homework. Okay. So it might be this one then, because this one says, where does it sit in terms of acceleration, maximum speed, and maneuverability compared to other racing crafts like the M50 Razer?
Yeah.
Excuse me for sneezing. 350R.
So the Saber Paragon is the answer to everything that Fury isn't. That was the other thing that I thought was interesting. They pointed out that they've got two ships that don't have guns. In fact, this is the question. They talk about the two ships that don't have guns. And there's the LX is supposed to be really nippy at turning corners, where this is really fast and straight line. So they've tried to go for both ends of that racing spectrum.
Yeah, I'm starting to think now this is more the ship that goes really fast at SCM. That's where my brain's going with this, because we still know the Herald's a thing, and it doesn't go as fast as the Herald, as an example. So there's obviously, and most people go, well, why the hell wouldn't you just go to nav mode? But there must be some advantage that we're not seeing yet. I think it's gameplay. Like, I reckon it's like, well, for example, if you can't go to nav mode, aka you've been intercepted, quantum dampened, this is the fastest ship to get away in. Literally.
Yeah, look. Yeah, I think that there's some aspect in it that they're looking at.
Pete's saying it's faster than the Herald. Okay, I take that all back then. Sorry.
But if it can't really do the data running, if it doesn't have the ability to store that, what's the point?
Yeah.
If it's got no other purpose other than racing, it's got no purpose.
Yeah, I really wish.
That's where I struggle.
Yeah, I really wish they at least had options. Like, so what they're just saying is, during its racing, it just takes its guns off, but you can actually install two guns if you choose to. That's how they should be selling this, because like, what other functional purpose are you going to do in a ship? The only other one I can think of, right, is transient wormholes or transient jump points, because you're not really going to be fighting in those. You're essentially in a racetrack when you're in there. But getting to the jump point and finding the jump point, that's huge risk.
But the downside is this is for flying in a straight line. And we already know that the transient jump points are where you're going to be doing your weaving and turning. So you're going to want your LX for that. So,
but what about, but are you in nav mode or are you in SM? See where I'm going? So there could be a benefit there still. I don't know.
Yep. And the other thing, like you just raised it in terms of why not have the hard points on and give you the ability to take them off. And we were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
And it's one of the questions that people have raised. It's one of the questions, I don't think it was in the Q&A, but it certainly came out of our video. And the question was, you know, why are people complaining about not having guns? And others were saying it's great to have them without guns. And I think it is, but I can remember CIG talking about the ships are built with weight. They're already built as if they're fully laden. Yeah. And as time goes on, when the less weight you've got on the ship, the less gear you're carrying, or the component or certain components you're carrying, that's going to change the flight characteristics of the ship. Now, this ship and the LX, they've already been stripped back bare. There's nothing that a player can strip back on them. All they can do is fine tune a racing component that's already in the ship.
Yeah. And
so you've taken at the way the ship is at the moment, it feels like you're taking the gameplay away.
Is it? You thinking it's a cup for the horse thing?
Yeah, I kind of think it is. Yeah. You've got this developed, beautiful racing ship, and they look great. But when the weights come in and people are not putting on the cargo or stripping off the weapons of their ships, how's that going to change these ships in comparison? And you were saying, yeah, well, they can, change in the stats. They can do that, or they can, they can reactivate parts of the skeleton and make it visible and have those hooks for the weapons. But it just feels.
Again, I think what you're trying to hint at, now tell me if I'm wrong, again, I'm really good at summarizing what you say, but what I basically heard is, this is the cart for the horse, they're selling a racing ship, if this is designed for later, why the hell are they selling it now? That's what I just heard.
But it's also that fact that all those bits and pieces that you'd come into the gameplay of modifying your ship and taking cargo off or taking components off or putting different components in, that feels like it's been taken away.
Yeah,
it's not there in that ship.
On the buyer's guide, we had a few people. There was a couple of races that left comments, and most of them even said they don't like it. That's what scared me, right? Because if the people that you're actually appealing to are saying no, not for me, thanks, bye, that's worrying. So I'm wondering if this is a little bit more designed for what we're about to see at CitizenCon. That's the only thing I can think of, Algared. Unless you can think of something else.
I think you're right. There's obviously something they're going to show us or tell us, and this is kind of the preemptive test. And the other thing, they're either, no, this is not a favourite ship.
I got the worst visuals then. I just had Disco Lander going, ta-da!
Yeah. You scared me too.
Yeah, the way he said it was just something they're going to show us.
But it really is... does have that feel like there's something that this is linked to. Either they know it's a crap ship and it's not going to sell, which is why everyone's got it in their hangars to fly at the moment.
Actually, now you mention it, remember how I said to you, I'm so surprised they sold this in the order they did. I thought they would have sold the worst one first, then this. It's the lull period. That's why they're selling this.
Yes,
it makes so much sense now.
But everyone seems to have this in their hangar at present to try.
You serious?
Yeah, I've got it in my hangar.
Okay, well, does everyone have a copy of this?
Oh.
Guys, just to double check, unless Algared's forgot he brought him, he's been known to lose javelins. I'm not gonna, drunk purchase a Paragan. I wouldn't put it past him.
No, as far as I know, I didn't go into a Lord of the Rings moment and get sucked in by the name. It certainly wasn't for me. One ship to rule them all. Are
you subscribed?
I am a subscriber,
and that's why you got one. Apparently, according to chat, subscribe. It's a subscribership of the month.
All right. Oh well.
And not just that, Algared. You're a $20 subscriber. We can tell. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, well,
You're a fancy pantsy subscriber. You've been caught out! No, that's fine. I know when I subscribe, I do the $20 one too, because then you get the 2 sub flares, but yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way to go.
Yeah, well, I don't do it all the time.
Yes, Lemming, I am a sub. Yes, we've already sorted it out.
Yeah.
And only and Zaya
he's
says,
not a dom. He's not a dom,
subs
Lemming. He's a sub. Can't you tell? That's how I get him into submission. Yeah. Oh god, these jokes are just too easy to come up with, and I'm tired. You can imagine what I'd be like when I'm not tired. Oh dear.
See what I have to put up with.
I'll be honest. I'll actually level with you. I was streaming with a mate of mine. He's a pretty big streamer. He plays he was playing the new game Deadlock, and we were playing that with a bunch of other people, and we were having a whale of time. We were just giving shit. Thinking fast the whole game. It was just it was mental Olympics the whole time while we were playing the game. But it was I had a whale of time last night. So I was up so late. But yeah.
So it's his fault that he's tired. It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, look, see, we just gave mental images to Lemming, like you did to me with Disco. I'm giving them to you now. Should I start talking about whips and leather? That'll really freak Lemming out if I started doing that. No, I better stop. All right, is there any more questions? I'm going to go into delirium soon. Yep. Any more questions you want to go through on this one?
Here's an interesting point, which Luna Maria picks up, and I think this is the problem. This is the problem that I see with the LX and the Paragon, right? Because they've both been built as premier racing ships. She says, in real life, cars, ships, planes, etc., they're all made with the super lightweight components. They're all stripped down, just like the Paragon.
Yep.
But my point is, the way CIG have built the game in the past is that you will, the stuff you're carrying on the ship, the way you've equipped your ship, that's going to change the flight characteristics.
Yep. And
that is the problem I see with this, because at the moment all the ships are flying as if they're fully laden. This is already stripped down. There's nothing for you to strip back.
Yeah.
There's nothing for you to modify or tweak. It's done for you. It's almost like the noob's racing vehicle, as opposed to, say, you coming along with your Raven and putting racing components in and stripping off the weapons. And...
So they did mention a thing on ISC recently about when you do those, and it was later followed up because people didn't kind of grab onto it. But you remember when we were looking at was it hostile zones or whatever they called it, the essentially the extraction shooter thing? Yeah. So that they then later mentioned, and I can't remember where they mentioned it, but I saw it somewhere. Oh, God damn it, my memory's getting bad. I've got too much stuff sitting in my head. But basically, they mentioned that the best components, like the super high-end competitive component, will be in those types of places, and then you can put them in, like, the best... They specifically mentioned racing. The best racers will have to go out and complete all these events so they can get all the parts to put into their racer. And then my first thought was and then some idiot pad runs them. That was where my brain went straight away. And then the ship is lost. But obviously you'll pay insurance to insure it. So over time, that's what you're essentially what they're equating to your downtime. But that sounds really weird. I'm a racer, and I'm also the best FPS shooter in the entire game.
Yeah,
like the mentality there just does not connect to me.
I think it'd be more of a yeah.
Well, I can understand it if it was you're a combat pilot and then combat on the ground. That's at least somewhat related. Yep. But like they're almost polar opposites.
It would be okay if it was, say, Hunt Showdown. Because the whole premise of Hunt Showdown is you're going in and you're killing the zombies and the monsters and But Star Citizen isn't Hunt Showdown. It's not just an FPS first-person shooter. It's the FPS plus the cargo plus the exploration. It's the game. It is supposedly one game to rule them all. 5 combat. 3 combat zones for the dwarves, 9 cargo areas for mortal men, and all of that type of stuff. But the game is encapsulating everything. And
I was like after you said it, the first thing that went into my head, right, was like, so it's one ship to rule them all, and in the darkness of space, bind them. That was where my brain went straight away. I went, that is epically awesome. That's well, you remember my response? I went, yes, Algared, that's it, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. We're doing that one because it was awesome. Like just the thought of it was like, and one ship to rule them all. Yeah, very evil of you. I was just like, he had his Sauron moment right there and then. So, yeah.
Well, you know, I do have my friends. They do call me Sauron. So, what can I say?
Yep.
But yeah, like and we're not saying which ship that is. It's but and I don't think CIG actually. I don't think John Crew actually wants to build one ship to rule them all. I think he wants that plethora of ships. But
Lemming,
but I do find the Paragan is that.
Real quick, Lemming, can you ban that guy on Twitch that the auto mod grabbed it if you can see it? But yeah. Just because I'm busy, sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, I do find the Paragan and the ships that are specifically built solid racers with Nava elements to be really problematic, and they just feel like it is putting there's almost a pre-stripped ship ready for you. It's giving that example. There was one question in there talking about the speed of a ship versus others in terms of its lateral and vertical lift, and they were talking about saying this ship is supposedly the best at that.
I got it
in the Q&A.
I got it, Lemming. I figured it out. It's a new thing, and that's what was tricking me up. I couldn't. I was like, what the hell? Why are the buttons not working? But I got it. He's banned. Sorry, we had a bot spam for the first time in ages. Like, how long has it been since we had a bot? At least 6 months. And he tried it on Twitch, and it grabbed him, and then I had to ban him. But anyway, sorry.
Yep. I can see why you were going off of piss poor Pete now as I look at the
the conversation. Yeah, he's just
he's
a
Twitch.
Rude, arrogant asshole, isn't he? Yeah.
It was. Yeah. Are you on live here or what? There's about 10 questions in the chat.
Just all him going, what the hell are you? Why are you starting the show? Like, I'm sick of eating my corn chips. He's just covered in cheesy powder, demanding we start the show. Yeah, that's fine.
Especially since his icon is yellow, it is kind of cheesy powder there, you know. So what cheeses Pete off is us being late to stream. Yeah, clear. But so going back to the...
It's just him giving me shit because I give him shit. Like, I literally go to hit, and I'm just constantly getting dog redeems, making him scruff the dog and change his costume and stuff like that. It's 2 clicks. It's so much for him to change his dog costume. It just blows his mind. But anyway, right.
Yep. So going back to the question in terms of what the Q&A said, in terms of this ship is supposedly really good at the lateral and vertical lift, but when we compared it to, or when I pulled up the data that Echo had gathered, he'd gathered on the Paragan versus the other Ravens that are readily available, and compared to the forward thrust and the rear thrust wasn't as good. It was great at the SCM speed, absolutely nailed it. But when it came to the lateral and the vertical, I think the Comet was actually better than it.
I really wish you. Do you know which question that answer? Oh, you don't, do you? Because we went through this. If anyone could tell me where the question is that Algared's talking about, because he's basically saying that they say here in the Q&A that it's lateral. That's up and down, or is that side to side?
Vertical's up and down.
So lateral up and down is faster than the Saber. They apparently say this in the Q&A, but I don't know.
Saying it's really good, but
but it's not. So if you can tell me which question it is it section 1, 2, or 3, and then question 1, 2, 3, or 4? Oh wait, there's 4 sections. Oh shit, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3 sections, and which question it is. So section 1, 2, or 3, and then question 1, 2, 3, or 4. If we just want to divide this up and go through it. Storage, snub.
The storage, it's got the same storage for personal equipment as the others. So standard Saber personal storage, so suit locker, etc. The speed or the fuel capacity of this is the same as the others, but because it's racer equipped and racer designed, it chews up more fuel.
Is it this one then? Because this actually says greater lateral and vertical acceleration compared to the other variants of the same class. So it's that one. Yeah. So, well, and I can tell you now from what Echo has looked at and then what you and I looked at, because I tested it beforehand, and you are right. It doesn't fly up and down. So I'm wondering again, is this cart before the horse where they intend it to be that way?
Yep. And and I also talk about, it should have the 30 Gs of acceleration and all that. So it really, it's just what we're seeing and what the stats are saying versus what the Q&A is saying don't seem right. So yeah. In the fuel capacity, they do say this will run out of fuel quicker than the others because it's a fuel hog. It doesn't have stealth because it's literally designed to burn hot. Interesting question. They said that they were asked in this, why does a military company design a full-on racer? And I said, well, companies do this all the time. I could see a company going outside of its purview to apply the knowledge of stuff they've got to and apply and say, okay, how's this application work in the military sense, or how's this application work in an explorer sense? And this just, to me, this just still feels too divorced from that. I can see where they're going. I can see, ship they would take stuff they're learning and apply it elsewhere, or push something and apply it back to.
I just love how I thought this was going to be me ranting and raving about the ship, and I'm just sitting back saying nothing. Let Algared take the whole thing, because as people are pointing out in chat, I'm just reading a couple of comments here. So the entire ship is a facepalm and stuff like that. But you're selling this to the audience of all audiences, right? At this time of year in the lull period, the people you are pitching this to are probably the people that are most dedicated, that buy the most ships. And you're, what? Like, why are you pitching this to them? Yes, I understand there are people that are into racing, right? We'll agree, right? So that's the line. It's tailored at races. But when races are coming to you and telling you there's problems with it, you got to raise the eyebrow and go, what the hell were you thinking? And we are the most scrutinizing people, like this hardcore audience that's here just before, CitizenCon kicks off. Like, because all the normies are going to turn up on the day for CitizenCon. But the people that actually go to CitizenCon, they're the hardcore people, right? And that is this audience. So I'm expecting when we get there, a lot of you guys better be there. I'll just put it that way. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like a liar. But I know the people that are around in these quiet times, Algared, you'd agree with me, no? The people we talk to are those dedicated people that are year round, and then you get the tourists that turn up at CitizenCon and Invictus. Is that not it in a nutshell?
Yep. And Beshokre, thank you again for that $2 super chat. He says, or they say that the thrust visuals and atmosphere flying was epic, though. Yeah, but people are also saying that the lift in this is not there where it should be. I think that was one of the comments from one of the racers on it in our video was picking up that in terms of atmosphere, it doesn't really have it at the moment. When
he says visuals, is he talking about in the video that's like a production marketing piece that they make
I'm assuming
to look really good so you buy it? Are you surreal? Like, sorry, but seriously, I have to ask that question. Like, are you high? Because I want... No, just kidding. But you get my point, right? Like, don't believe the marketing. Never believe the marketing. They are there to convince you to buy. If like everyone in the chat is now face palming, I guarantee it, because... Look at all the... man, me and Algared have sat here for every bad ship they've ever sold. It's because of the marketing. It's got nothing to do with the people that make the ship and everything to do with marketing. This entire thing was collected from the developers by marketing. And that's why it's a shit show. And that's why we sit here and complain, because they're the people that caused this. That is the disconnect.
Veshkori, with his another $2 super chat, says, no, he's talking about the in-game visuals, so... And the in-game visuals do look great. I've got to give it that. They do look great, but
they do. My bad. Sorry, I was just curious because you didn't contextualize.
Yeah, but yeah, so it is a lovely looking ship. Several people said things like
read what Zavas just said there. He's agreeing with what you said in the video, like in YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Read that. And I agree with Aaron. This is... I still think the steal is a little bit more ridiculous because of the price, right?
Yeah.
Because this is at least in line with the other sabers, but it is starting. It's if it's not past the colors, it's clearly very close to the second worst ship in the entire game.
You know, and I do struggle with that. You know, it's a John Flick. Thank you for $2. With a thumbs up. Always appreciated. Never required, but always appreciated. But yeah, I do struggle with that. I do struggle with the fact that I baited us with this. That's what you guys want. That's what you want, guys. Yeah, it gives us talking points.
Yeah. Algared, I put this to you, and I know you're kind of in a bit of a rant, but I really want to talk to the marketing people. If we get a chance while we're over there, I don't want to like go up to them and like hit them with a pillow or something like that. I just want to sit down and literally talk to them and say, why? Why do you go this way? And I want to understand why they do what they do, so I'm not as freaked out and stressed out. Because it's there's either some disconnect, or they've just learned that pissing people off sells more ships. Like I don't know. I don't understand. So I want to understand, how have they not educated themselves, so to speak? Like, I don't know about you, but if I make a mistake, and I put this in basic human terms, right? I learn from my failures. If I make a mistake, I try again and repeat. It's the old Edison with the light bulb. I learned 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Does that mean they're going to stuff up 1,000 times before they get this right? I certainly hope not. But you get my point, right? It's just a little weird that they keep making the same mistakes.
It is frustrating. It is frustrating. But
maybe they're goldfish at marketing and they just forget. After 2 sales, poof, it's gone. They forget.
Well, you know, I can't say what and why is the reasoning. I know over times you look at things you and you say, why did you do X? And then when it's explained, you go, oh yeah, I see that. We may disagree with what and why, but sometimes you can't fault the thinking, the original thinking. A couple of the comments in our video said things like, if this was just a ship for onboarding, onboard someone, we could have coped with that.
Lemming is completely right. Marketing won't be at CitizenCon, but guess where we're going to be and where CitizenCon is? At Manchester. If there was ever an opportunity for us to sit down with marketing, that would be it, because they're probably at Manchester. So, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we should put some feelers out and see. You know, see if we can get a bit of a combo with them. Maybe we'll just have lunch with them. That'll be fine. This isn't as if I'm going to berate them. I genuinely want to know why. I don't attack people. I try to understand people. Well, you know me better than most, Algared, so you know what I'm like. I don't attack people. I try to understand them, because then when you understand them, you can see what they think and why they do what they do. So yeah, that's all I want to do. I just want to understand why they do what they do. Anyway.
Yeah. So. John Flick says, do you ever wonder what they think this game is? The problem is, John, this game does everything.
Yeah. And I have no doubt there are people out there that the ship will appeal to. It's, again, timing of it, how they and I'm sure there's people that bought it. I know there's people that bought it, right? Because I've seen it in game, but I haven't seen many in game. Like, you know, when there's usually a new ship, you kind of see it everywhere. No, I've seen like 2, and people were looking at me when I was flying it, going, or almost to say, "You brought one? Are you crazy?" Like there were ships, like, you know how people would like turn and look at you and stuff like that. They were doing that, like, oh, it's you know, because they hadn't seen one in game
yet. You've got one of those? Are you insane?
Yeah. So
I saw it in the hangar, and I pulled out the Raven instead.
Yeah. Look, it is fast. I'm going to give it that. It is fast, but it's just, again, it's timing and framing. Like, just before CitizenCon, the hardcore audience, it's like that. It wouldn't have been a problem, but, you know, or a movie when it flops. You know what I mean? Like, it just bad timing. Economic timing, or something bad related to it happened. It's kind of like that. Just, if they'd released this along with another ship at, say, AIE or something like that, I don't think it would have been a problem. But it's just, yeah, you
or released it with a major racing event or anything like that. People go, Now,
shouldn't they? They should have done this with Scarlet Apex. Isn't Scarlet Apex like later on this month? Scarlet
Apex is later this month, but it would not survive
because of the guns. I did say that. Yeah.
It would be great for. It'd be awesome for a ship because it flies in a straight line and it's really fast in that straight line. It would be great for races like the Crux Cup, because those tracks we do have those long straights and then several corners. So it'd be great for one of those, and it'd be interesting to see how well it would compete against a Herald in that regard, because it's not as quick in the turning. So it might be interesting to see how that goes.
Well, one thing I did bring up in the video, and I'm kind of looking at what John Flick just said there, is it's way too pricey is his issue, and I agree with you, because I was I know it's not out yet, but the Zeus CL is $15 cheaper at Warbond, right? So they're both kind of at their Warbond price. Why the hell would I buy this when I can buy like two of the Zeuses that hold like 3 people, and I can get an Explorer one, or for just only $15 more. I can also it's $20 more, and get the Marquee Mark, right? And here's the scary thing, Algared. If that Zeus ST is still a thing, it's only $5 more than this, based on what you and I saw. So again, I'd rather a multi-crew racer that has internals. Like, the pricing on this is just.
And Lemming says they made $500,000 on this yesterday, so some people are buying it.
But then there are people that are like you, Algared, that can't not buy everything.
No, I
know you're not alone in that, right? Because
this year, CitizenCon is curing me.
Well, there's a whole series of people that basically free-to-play games are mentally based around, because they just have to buy everything, right? That kleptomania type stuff. And I'm quite honestly, it's why I don't play I don't play. What do they call it? There's a term for it.
Well, it's not kleptomania. That's stealing.
It's the one where they collect everything, but Pokemon syndrome. Let's call it that. But you get my point, right? That they rely on people. They've actually found that a lot of these whales, and I'm not just having to go at them across the board, but there are people that are whales that aren't filthy rich, and they just can't not buy everything. Like, they'll literally go without food to buy, to add to their collection and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying you're one of them, but I start to think, I worry that they're going into that free-to-play mentality.
I think there are people who get caught by that, and I think that's a danger for everyone. And it's hard, because part of me doesn't want to fault CIG, because they say with everything, you don't need this to play. You don't need this to play every sale.
They're definitely better at it than other free-to-plays. But I'm just saying,
But it's that certainly that OCD. I've got to collect them. I've got to have a complete collection. It is tough to break. Zyzef made a comment in YouTube. He says, had they released it with Saber Firebird, kind of like they did with the Pulse, where there's one with weapons and one without, that would have felt better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other thing that I saw in our chat was people saying from the video was people saying, and this is something I think we also discussed as well. Had they said this was for onboarding someone new to the game, and given them saying, okay, you're doing a racing ship, show us what you can do. And it was get him to get used to the styles and the ship pipeline and all the rest of it. And then they sold it. I don't think any of us would say, okay, yeah, great ship, It'd get a pass just because of that. But it just feels.
So I think we kind of we'll go into the questions that people wrote for this, but I'm going to be honest. I think we kind of leave it in the hopeful column of that. There's other stuff for this to come. I think that's the like my takeaway is there's certain things missing, like it not being like they said it should be. So I'm hoping. Well, again, look what they did with the Firebird. They increased the missile count because it wasn't selling. Well, people said at the time it was because it was not selling. Maybe it's this. Maybe they make it faster. Maybe they fix some things.
I really hope that for all the racing ships, they give them some form of small data running ability, because that to me makes sense as to why a military company makes a racing ship because they're leaning, and this I think answers the questions as to why a military company is building ships. And I think it leans into it more than just saying, oh, well, every company goes into building different ships. They go into building different ships that lean into the stuff they're doing already. Why does a military company build a racing ship? It's because they're interested in getting a priority transport for transporting their data.
Well, I don't think they all need
that. They're kind of doing that. You know, it's that type of.
I don't think they all need the data running element because, quite honestly, can't you just take a hard drive with you on your personal storage on the ship?
You could do that in your personal storage on the ship.
Yeah. So again, because those data runners are meant to have more computers than the average ship. That's my only rebuttal to what you just said. But again, if you can put something of high value, even though it's small, and you want to get it through, that does give the racers a thing to do.
You know, and so I think that's the type of thing that that you want with those. You want them to be built into that type of gameplay loop. It's not just saying it's a racing ship, but why are they racing? Some ships are going to be built specifically to be racers. Some, I would imagine, are being leveraging out of that aspect of being the data runners and then pulling back. Given that Drake have one of the two main data runners in game, I'm surprised that Drake don't have a data runner, have a racing ship yet.
I know.
Now, I know that the Herald is one of the best long distance racers and dragsters in game, and that almost ties in with what they said. It's a ship with massive engines on the back. But it really is that. It really does feel like Drake could strip all the components out of a Herald and soup up its engines even more and say, hey, here's our racer.
Algared, you've just given him the best idea. It's the Herald Steel. It'll be out next year, mate. Don't worry.
Yep. But a Herald Steel that is a racer.
Need to get your kids to school on time?
Yeah. It's a racing ship with six.
I can see the advert where it literally crashes into the wall, and they go, "Just joking, that was our test dummies." Like. Have all your little innocent kids, and then like crash into a wall. No, but it's actually test dummies. Just really poorly edited video. It'd be really funny if they pitched that correctly.
Yeah, I could see them stripping out all the data running stuff and putting all of the seats in there for for getting where you want fast. But it's a boarding ship. Yeah. But
now
super fast delivery.
Find your message, John. You can read the super chat while I try and find the actual message you said.
So John Flick says, my last message above sums up for most, maybe.
Yeah, so he says, here's my issue too. They did this one on a delayed patch, justified it, and made it 324. Then released one overpriced racing ship instead of a new cargo ship, one patch calling a cargo. Yeah, that's true. It's a cargo patch and it's a racing ship. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. It would have made more sense. But again, sometimes things don't line up.
Yep.
Right? Again, cart full of horse. I don't know. Look at how many times they've tried to hit and miss. The Raft, the cargo literally dropped this patch, and the Raft is, 2 years old now? And that was meant to come with this cargo stuff.
Yep.
So,
and and that's true. Like sometimes you make your plans.
Yeah.
And things get stuffed up. And so but I still think a Herald Steel that has its guns ripped off, its data stuff ripped off, even if it's got seats in the back, if they gave it the same treatment they're giving the Paragan.
I just can't get past a yellow cut Herald Steel that's like a school bus and it's all rusted.
Given the shape,
and the kids are getting on, and like
has as well. Given the shape the Herald has as well, it kind of does have that US school bus type.
Yeah, I can
type look. So
man, it'd be funny.
I can see it.
It'd be funny as if it was done properly. Yeah.
But yeah, I could see a racing ship, but I actually think a Herald Steel would actually still be better than
the Cutlass Steel. Yeah.
Well, than the Cutlass Steel, or even I think the Paragan, because I think. Because you're building it specifically as a racing ship, where you're saying I've stripped out X to make X.
Well, again, if it had the extra seats on the back, you could even use it as a really dodgy boarding craft. Like, it'll be harder to, but you know what I mean? Like, you're zooming through to literally get past the bullet fire as quickly as possible and then get close to the big ship so you can just bail out into space and jump on it. Essentially just bail out the door. You know, maybe modify it so it's got a door on either side, you know, and you just bail out, essentially. Like, you just zoom in, bail out in space, and then they all just try and clamber onto the ship. Like the most dodgy boarding ship you've ever seen. But we'll see.
So Destroy says data running ships are data running ships. I want a racing ship, not a data running.
Well, put
not
that
a data runner that I'm racing with. But I think when you're looking at, if a military company is building a racing ship, it might be a full-on racer. But rather than just saying, oh, well, they just build ships that we want, you don't just go out and say, oh, you know, Australian Defence Industries doesn't go out and say, oh, we're building a Formula One racing ship. Car because we want to enter the racing. They go, okay, we're going to build this racing ship or this racing car because X, Y, and Z that we do for our things actually makes sense for us to actually do that. To just do it out of the blue makes no sense.
You're talking about overlap, essentially.
Yeah,
there's a bit of
you're
overlap.
saying we're doing this because we do these types of aspects, and that's why you do that. But that's just me nitpicking, I suppose. Anyway. From our chat, from the video, we also had a question from Vazarus Paytonis 7017. They said, even for racers, how does this evolve that gameplay? And that was a question we were raising. He was saying they were saying they felt they'd gone off the path of offering more gameplay loops and was zeroing down. And then they also had the question of, where's the sponsorship for this ship? It's just a plain skin. And again, it was one of the things when they said that, I thought, if it's a racing ship, why don't we have racing skins? Why don't we have the sponsors? Why don't we have... And this is where I'd love to see decals come in.
You know why?
Yeah.
Time. It takes time to place decals. It does not take time in Dataforge to change. Once you've unwrapped that ship and they put it into their Dataforge system, it's just changed numbers and it changes colors and stuff. That's what I mean.
I've got to put all those little stickers on.
Yeah, it's what I've been trying. Not a unique skin. It's what I've been trying to tell you for ages. Those skins are disgustingly quick to make.
Yeah, they are.
Way quicker than Photoshop.
And so you can understand why they do that. Now, I would hope
you're getting attacked on Twitch, by the way, because you're giving them bad ideas, apparently. They want you to shut up because you're going to give us more bad ideas.
The only one I can see is Pitbull Pete, and my chat has stopped at 6:01. So.
No, Zarek Master saying, Algared, stop giving them bad ideas. We need QED Herald, not Steel.
Okay. Yeah. No, we don't need a QED Herald. We just need a good racing ship.
It could be useful because you get in there quick and slow them down.
Yeah.
So other people catch up.
So I can see the desire for the racing skins. I'd love to see that, but I hope. But the reason our racers have plain skins is because down the track we are going to get decals, and then we can actually choose where we put our decals on our ships. So that would be my hope. But I dream. And what else did they say? Vazarus Paytonis says, "Spice it up, man. Why haven't we seen racing ships introduce components for modifying things in game? So why don't we see better, something to modify those components? It doesn't even have to be a complex. They could simply do a kin, a 5-second quick tuning. Put in a module and it tunes your engines or your power plant or something like that. So, and their reasoning was, show us stuff that they're working on to let us see that they're going just rather than just bring out another ship to try and sell. And I get where they're coming from. So that was just, I thought those comments were interesting and it touched on aspects we've been talking about. Then there was Kimoto657 who said, I just want a Raven. None of these variants appeal to me. And I think that's true. I think that's the problem. People want the Raven. They don't want a Firebird with multiple missiles. They don't want a racing ship general.
It's like you said, Algared. The QED variant was the closest it was ever going to get. And that's what everyone was talking about on the Twitter post. I didn't see a single post. Well, I guess if I went back, I could probably find one. But I didn't see a single post at the time that even hinted at this being a racing ship.
Yep.
So
yeah. And I think that's the case. Like until we saw that leaked comment just before the patch dropped, that was the first we'd heard anything about a racing ship in the Sabre line. I can see that based on the way in which the Raven was sold as being fast, being able to deliver cargo, the data safe and securely, and having all those other features. If you're pushing that speed aspect, if you're pulling elements of that speed aspect, and you're taking the other things out, you're effectively building a racing ship of some form or a speed ship of some form. So
I'll show this on stream while I'm doing it, Algared. I know you're struggling with the talk. But yeah, so this is the person that won the oh shish. No, I can't do it on stream because it's got their personal email. Hang on.
Yeah.
Gotta go back. But yeah, this person won the 100i for the...
You could put their recipient name in.
I gotta do more.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Their name is... Oh, God, I've turned this thingo mode back on. It was Tails something. That's all I had. But they won a 100i for the...
Ship Showdown.
The Ship Showdown voting thing that Lemming ran again this year, which I thought was really cool. So thanks for doing that, Lemming, and congrats, Tails, and enjoy ship. I just sent it off to you if you're watching.
Now, and earlier on you did mention that we've brought back the F7C. 8.
Oh yeah.
No, the F8C. Sorry, the F8C.
Let's talk about that because that's for a ship that they were never going to sell again. Is this not the third or fourth time now?
See, I've got no problem with them doing that because it's tied in with the ship won the showdown. What do they do when a ship wins the showdown? They bring out, they make it available.
Maybe that's why they're bringing it back. But like at the end of the day, when this was first pitched, it was a one and done type of thing, and it's now the fourth time. And I'm going to be honest with you. I am still in the camp of when Squadron 42's out, because they said, and they haven't changed this is the reward. So all you're paying for is essentially a reason not to play Squadron 42 all the way to the end. And let's be honest, everyone that's here now in this lull period, all of us are going to finish Squadron 42 probably at least once, if not multiple times, right? So because we're going to have, it's finally something that we can play that's got some depth. But again, it's a fighter, Algared. You and I talk about this to the cows come home. Sell your fighters and earn them in game. This is literally the most expensive fighter. Correct me if I'm wrong. That you can buy.
I believe it is.
That there or a Caterpillar. That there or a Redeemer. Another combat ship. I'd still take the Redeemer over this any day of the week, or a Caterpillar, right? And that is insane to think about a Caterpillar and its size. It's a large ship versus a small. Not just a medium, which is what the Redeemer is. Like that is crazy how overpriced this is. Is the epitome of the sell your fighter meta. That is it right there. And yes, is it the best fighter in the game? Actually, no. I would argue that the Mark II is the best fighter in the game, and that's why I kind of was pushing for it last week with the skins, Algared. Because that is, you talk to any of the PvPers, for PvP, this is amazing, right? But let's be honest, you're going to be running into people as well, and they're the people that are going to take, because this just doesn't have the maneuverability.
I believe Lemming the Scythe was 250. Originally, I could be wrong.
No, it was 350. He is correct, actually. He is correct.
It's 350.
Yeah, it was 350. The Glaive's 350 as well. So yeah, he has technically got me by the balls on that one. But alien tax, so that's why. I would also argue that this is a heavy fighter, which the Glaive. I can't remember if the Glaive is because the Scythe is a life fighter, so I can't remember if the Glaive is heavy or medium. I'd have to. No, it's a medium because the blade's the light. That's right. Yeah. So the Scythe is a medium fighter. So yeah, so they are different. It's the Glaive that would be the most comparable to this one. But yeah,
So Scythe has a value of $300 in store.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
And the Glaive, I think, is going to be more than that because that's the
Wait,
that horrible tax.
Wait, this is not 330. I was told it was 330. Wait, okay, let's go look.
That is the.
Now I'm questioning my sanity, which I do on a daily basis, so don't worry about that. Oh, you can't buy it. Oh joy.
No.
Wait, we're going into the buyback. Here we go. Is it under my hanger? Yes, it is. There we go. Buyback pledges. I was in here the other day, Algared, because me and Algared have been looking at stuff for the raffle.
Yep.
And I stumbled on it again. It's got to be down here somewhere. Ironclad. So it's just before that. All the paints for the F7. I was also saying to Algared at the time, my buyback has literally grown by a third in just the last 12 months because of all the skins I now collect.
Now, Tails does say, yes, he is in chat. He is in our YouTube chat, and he said, thanks, Execute.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
So,
sorry, I forgot your name, but when your beep went off, I realized I didn't turn streamer mode on. And when I turn streamer mode back on, it truncates everyone's name. So your name on my screen is T ... So it is an unfortunate, but it's designed to protect people's anonymity on Discord. I'm hoping I haven't scrolled past this. Oh, no, there we go. So buyback. $300. Okay, so I have made it You know why I've said 330 then, don't you? The
Australian tax.
Yeah, GST. That's why I've said it. So yeah, my bad. I'll have to adjust that in my head. $300. But even at $300,
yeah,
$30 is not. It's 10%. Literally, you get to a caterpillar or a redeemer for $30. Like, it's just crazy to me.
But that is the same price as the scythe in store.
More expensive
when you look at the price.
Yeah, more expensive than MSR, a Corsair, a Connie. Like, it's just crazy. And even then, a Connie's a large, as is an MSR. Like, it's crazy to me how expensive that is.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a Connie than a. If I could only have the one chip, I think I'd go a Connie. If I'm looking, and I think, look, if we go back to our what chips would you buy on a budget? Remember that? You know, what would you buy on $50? What would you buy on $250 or $300 and going up?
Yep.
And I think I'd still, if I only had $300, I think it'd probably still be a Connie. It's the ship, but
yeah, it'd be a daily driver for sure.
It's still a ship that pulls my strings, and I'd probably even these days look at a Taurus and then something else because the Taurus is it offers so much, it's cheaper. But
again, I think what you're trying to say there, and you tell me if I'm wrong, because that's for you, right? But you're essentially saying buy one ship that suits you. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
If you're
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't disagree on that in any way, shape, or form. But maybe we should revisit that because it has been a couple of years since we did that one.
And it's certainly, I imagine, it's certainly out of date.
Well, what we might do then is instead of making it at a price point, we'll just go, what small ship would you buy? What medium ship would you buy? Like our favorite ships at different sizes, essentially. Yeah. I think that'd be
and talk about why we'd go for those. For some of them, it's just going to be, it just looks good.
We could do that as an evergreen episode where we're away. So that might be a good one to remember. Write that down, Algared, because I'll forget.
I'll put it into our...
Yeah, put it in our notes, please. Yeah.
I'll actually put it in the Inforunners channel notepad.
Thank you.
The evergreen. Ships.
Okay. I gotta stop looking at Twitter. I get lost in all the ship discussions. Right.
Yep.
Do you got any more of those questions that we want us to read out?
No, we're up to our first question.
Okay, wait, hang on. Just replying to Tao. I know he's watching. Just refresh it a few times. It'll come up eventually. Once you've claimed it, it's probably a caching issue of your browser or whatever. But if you've claimed it and it says you've got it, just give it a couple of minutes. It will pop up.
Yeah. Sometimes I've found if it really doesn't, log out, log back in.
Yeah, because you can buy stuff on the store too, and it doesn't show up straight away as well. It's exactly the same problem. If you're wondering why you can't see it there.
So Monster AV has a question.
Yep, go for it.
Monster AV's question is, personally, my question is when and how much, cause I could see them knocking them out fast for a new dev, but how many, which ones? So I know that's
I think he's talking to someone else, Algared, because again, it doesn't say question at the start of the question.
Yep. Yeah, but we've always said you don't have to put that in.
Yeah, but I think again he's like, because there's no context, he's replied to someone else. Anyway,
well, I think the context is based on what we're talking about in terms of it being the.
Are you literally trying to speculate on how he wrote his question? Are you serious?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm being generous.
Hang on, I've got a super chat there by Johnny. Says Army NASCAR does NASCAR details for recruitment, easy win. So what? Join the army on a NASCAR, basically. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I did see your comment in the YouTube chat, John. I just didn't get a chance to get to it. I did see you added me with that before you did the super chat. I did see that.
Yep. Right. Socially Confused says, what company do you think that mech suit is? Oh, that's a good question.
Argo.
You reckon it's Argo? I think I think it's Drake because it's yellow.
Argo, Grey Cat.
Well, let's go back and have a look. Let's do speculation time. Wait, am I on the right one? I think I am. Did I close them? No, I closed them. All right. Let's look and see if we can see any marks. There's one down here, but it's a code. Yep. There's not a lot of markings on there. There's not a lot of design language at all. I'm going to say this, Algared. What if it's just a completely new manufacturer? Because I don't look at that and take any style points off that at all.
I thought the cab looked very... yeah,
it does have a bit of an Argo thing on it. Yeah, I'll give you that, actually. That frame is Argo-shaped. Like on the MPUV.
Kind of frame, but then...
You look at that frame,
You look at that frame though, and it's also very much like the.
No, but I mean
the loader.
Well, the thing is, it's wider than those angles. Like if I pull out an MPUV, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yep.
MPUV, it is like a dead ringer of the shape language, and I'm just talking the shape
of the cab.
Oh, it's probably not as steep actually.
Not quite as straight, but that's what was kind of picking up for me. And also the one that also made me think was the little mining vehicle.
Well, that's not the rock.
Yep, the rock was.
You know that's
another one that came.
It's literally in the background, off to the right. You can see it there. Look, it's in the background.
Yep. So that was when I was thinking was the other one that came up. I could possibly also, when I think about it, think it could also resemble the mule. Oh, God. So,
Algared, you know what they're doing again, right?
Yeah, enough to hang ourselves.
Yeah, every bloody time. These sods the bitches. They are too good at this shit. I tell you, when the marketing actually do marketing and don't sell virtual spaceships, they're very good at it.
Yeah, they're great at the Easter eggs.
Yeah. So, Pyrotechnic Amalgamated. They're the people from Pyro. Yeah, they again, a manufacturer we haven't seen before.
And they did, they were a mining company. So I think it's got to be, if it's the vehicle that goes with the cut, the cutter for the reclaimer.
Yeah.
Having it as a company that's done mining, that's heavily into mining, would have been sent. The Pyrotechnic Amalgamated went bankrupt. If my memory serves me correctly, I could be wrong.
I'm going to codename it the Slash because we know they didn't call it the Cutter, so we'll just change the name slightly. It's the Slash.
The
Titan Slash.
But if it is a mining company, the one that we certainly know of is, and I'm not including Hurston Dynamics who are strip mining their planet. The one that really rings a bell is Grey Cat. Grey Cat of the mining company that did the Grey Cat buggy, which was for mining.
It has this for logic, right? That would have proved that it is that Pyro multi-tool people. And I like his thought processes. So this is Pissball P. He says, it looks like a walking multi-tool, same color, same shapes, whoever makes it made this. Yeah. Pyro multi-tool. 100%. So that I'm assuming the Pyro multi-tool is also the Pyrotechnics Incorporated people. Yeah, that would work for me. Yeah. But again, this is something else you and I talked about too, Algared, is we don't think Titan suits are just going to come from one manufacturer and all different technology levels. So I wouldn't be surprised if we some of the ship manufacturers make them, but a whole bunch of new ones as well. So eventually I expect we'll, like you mentioned Grey Cat, And I'm not going to say this is exactly what we get, but you could get a mining one from Grey Cat. You could get, we talked about a medical one. Remember when we were going through all the Titans and we're going like, they literally could use the Titan names and have every single Titan, you know, Atlas. And look, that's what I would have called that. You know, that's why I went on about the Atlas platform and said, worst name ever, because that's perfect for that. Atlas carried the world on his back. The Atlas Titan. There it is right there.
Yeah, Titan suit that's got a forklift. It's an Atlas. Titan suit that's you know, shoots lightning bolts. It's
Zeus, you know. And then the Zeus, it makes so much sense. And then, you know, you could add a medical one that's like Gaia or whatever, you know, or whatever. You pick the god name, you get what I mean, or the Titan name. I just think it was a really missed opportunity. But
look, as Piss Poor Pete would probably come in, or others would say, stop giving him ideas, stop giving him ideas, because you know, because knowing CIG, they will reuse those names.
Well, why is it also limited to humans? Why can't we see the Cyan Titan suit? Cyan! That's Pete's new girlfriend. Cyan!
Yep, Cyan. Yeah, you know, like, when Pete does it like that, he really overemphasizes that Australian accent.
He thinks that I'm saying Diane. Cyan!
Yeah, well, you know, it's Australian vernacular is and style and pronunciation. Yeah, very nasal.
But I'm looking forward to a lot more Titan suits down the line. You and I talked about this for years. So literally every profession under the sun. I think I'll leave it there. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but I look forward to seeing that Titan suit or that loader or whatever they want to call it. Aurelius and Dominus, do you think they will announce?
That's not a question. Next one. Oh, no, it does say a question. Do you think they will announce release at CitizenCon? I was in Squadron 42. We've been hoping. That's the whole reason we're going. Let's put it that way. But just I have doubts now. Mainly because things like 4.0, like the drop of dates, the gala was the big thing for us, right? Because the gala told us that there was more than likely celebrities going to be there, and that's where, if you've got that card, which is a contract with a celebrity, that they appear for the release of the game, and then all of a sudden the gala's gone, that tells me the release is not coming anymore. So I think at best we're probably going to get a date or maybe a demo that we can all play, but I don't think it's going to release anymore. I could be completely wrong, but that is just the feeling I now have.
And given that we know that the gala was being planned, like we were hearing about something similar to the gala even before CitizenCon was even finished last year. And so for it to disappear, I think that the plan, based on what they were looking at last year, was we're going to be doing the launch.
Best laid plans again.
Best laid plans. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you make your plans, you plan for them, and as you get closer, you go, we're not going to make that. And in the past, when they've pulled it right at the last minute, we've crucified them.
Yeah. So look,
they didn't leave it to the last minute, so I see that as a positive.
Yeah, so this also shows you that it's pretty much not coming, because that's Squadron 42 polishing, and it goes into January.
Yep.
That's all I need to see. Right? So has it been delayed by 3 months or whatever that thing is? Yeah, that could be it. But it ends in January. So that tells me whether it's not that they've just kind of realized they're not going to get there.
And rather than leave it until you know, end of September to say, we're not running the gala, they realised early and they told us, and that's that was one of the criticisms that have been levelled against CIG in the past. Why didn't you tell us earlier that if you couldn't do it? Well, they've told us. They said, hey, we can't. You know, they didn't say what their plans were, but they've indicated that's not happening because our plan, you know, and you join the dots. That's all I'll say, you know. So.
But we'll still see you guys there anyway. And I'm going to be honest, like, the main reason we're going, well, for me, I don't want to put words in Algared's mouth, but it's to meet people. Like, I've only been to 2 Bar Citizens now, but both of them were epically awesome. And they had a small bunch of people. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when there's 1,000 other citizens. That's just going to be bananas. Like, it's just going to be that on crack. Yeah, it'd be mad.
You were at did you go to the Bar Citizen the very first one that was at the
at
PAX
PAX?
Australia?
Yeah, I was there. Okay, that's 3 then. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
So if you were at that one, that's what that 1,000 people one will be like. And that was only a couple of hundred.
Well, I actually went to the exclusive event beforehand. That's where I first met you, but I didn't realise who you were until after. You were sitting there all grumpy man, back like this, with your feet under the desk collecting the tickets as people came in. You remember? Oh. And you were sitting there with the other dude that's your friend.
Would have been Revan.
Yeah, Revan. Yeah.
I don't think I was sitting there all grumpy face.
No, you. I remember you talked to me and you were arm crossed like this, and you're like, yeah. And I just remember this old man, Grumpy Hurston. That's what I remember. Oh. You were very standoffish at the time, and then I went, that's who that is.
I often sit like this at the moment, with the arms crossed, usually because my chest is aching. But
it's hard to believe. Like, I actually hope we get a chance to sit down with Sandy and Chris again, because it would be really cool to do an interview 10 years on. You know, I just think that'd be epic. And just all 4 of us sit down in a bar somewhere, even if we don't record it, I'd be happy just to talk, you know.
I've said it lots of times.
Do you know, Paul was saying the other day, to his knowledge, I'm still the last person that interviewed Chris. That's bananas to me.
Yep.
He hasn't done an interview in 10 years? Well, we're gonna break. Apart
from Sandy.
Yeah, but you get my point, right?
Yeah.
No other content creators done it. That, especially the only other one I know of was Gamers Nexus did it, and there was some guy that doesn't follow the game anymore from Germany. It was a German citizen that interviewed him, and he had a very small channel, and he never, well, not a small channel, but he doesn't make content anymore. Long story short.
Yeah. But
it'd be just really cool to sit down and interview him again. Now I've got Buckley's no chance that's going to happen, but it would be cool just to catch up 10 years on, because I don't think any of us would think that was where we would be 10 years ago, that would still be here, so to speak. But I'm glad we are still here. Like, I've enjoyed the ride, as I know you have.
It's one of the things that I've thoroughly enjoyed about Star Citizen, and when I consider, you know, what I spent in Star Citizen over the years, it boggles my mind. But then when I think of the time spent doing things with Star Citizen, the friends I've met,
it's invaluable. It is. And like any game you play, because there's no kind of real game there was a lot more out of game experiences, and so essentially you've built all these relationships. So you've built relationships with people that are like-minded, which is again why I'm excited to go to CitizenCon, because at the moment I look at, like, in chat, and I see Lemming, or I'll see Monster Avery, or whatever name that I'm reading, and that person will walk up to me at a Bar Citizen, and I won't know them at all, and they'll start talking to me like they're my best friend, and then I read their name and I'm like,
oh yeah, I know you.
It's you.
Yeah.
So you want to do me and Algared a favor? If you want to, one of 2 things. When you walk up to us, go, oh, my online name is this, or wear a name tag with your online name on it. One of those 2, because to us, we don't know you. We have no idea. Stranger danger. Like, it can be overwhelming when someone walks up and they're passionate, and they just start talking to you like they know, because this is a one-way communication system. It goes out, but does not, only text comes back, so to speak. Yeah.
Especially if you're one of the people who are regularly leaving comments, and certainly people who we're regularly interacting with in terms of the chat.
Well, that's these people here. Like, again, in the lull period, that's why I say the other periods are tourists, because in the lull periods, we notice it's always those same hardcore fans.
Yep. Now, Pete Beef in YouTube chat. He's talking about the loader, and he says it's got very much those get away from her, you bitch vibes, and absolutely that's exactly what they're going for with that. And that's why I think it's got those Argo Drake cat vibes, because those cats kind of have that look. But you want to actually watch that video just a little bit longer, and you see the egg. You kind of see that trophy type egg. You did show it earlier, but
I can probably bring it back up, because I sent it to
the kind of trophy that says "In space, no one can hear you sing," which is a singing trophy that they've got. But gee, it looks like a xenomorph egg. So they are definitely going for that vibe in that video.
Oh,
so
shush.
and when
there we go. Okay.
But when it was if it was zoomed back, it kind of had that egg-like look. So
I didn't get that one, but
yeah. But it's certainly as it spun around, you kind of saw that kind of egg type shape, and I think that's the vibe they were definitely going for. So I think you're 100% right. It does have those vibes, and
do you know what the scary thing is though? Is the facehugger Disco Lando that comes out of this egg? It's horrid. It just comes at you screaming.
Yeah. And then the scarier one would even bursting out.
Yeah, he burst out of his jacket.
Bursting out of your chest. As it develops into the next stage. Yeah. Anyway, Meet Your Maker says, with the dev post saying they're adding additional content with more 2.4 patches, another ship soon, perhaps.
You'd have to assume that that's CitizenCon.
You'd have to assume,
the sales for CitizenCon, because 4.0 was meant to be for CitizenCon. You can clearly tell, and it now looks like 4.0 is falling back to AIE.
Yep, we're looking at 6 weeks.
Yeah,
6 weeks before CitizenCon.
If they can, I have no doubt they'll probably try and get it done. But
yep, but I think they're starting to go. We're not doing it. We're going to be.
Yeah, so it's just going to basically, you've got AIE, and they're just going to put all the cool stuff from AIE. It's going to be one of the biggest AIEs we've ever seen, though, if that's the case. Because they'll try. That's bad for sales if you think about it, because then instead of having 2 sales where they can maximize their stuff, they've just combined it all into one, and then it's. I can only buy a certain amount of stuff in that month, and if you've just compiled it all into one, I can't get everything I want, so sales go down. That's what it's about. It's chula.
All right. So here's a question for our sales team. Is there a chance that we will sell Inforunners pins to wear at CitizenCon?
So we've had a lot of stuff on hold for merchandise. We're getting there. We just need a bit more time.
Given the time, I would probably say
no.
My gut would say no. I'm not even sure we'd even be able to get cloth patches
done
that we could take with us to give to people to wear at CitizenCon. But I will never say never, but don't hold your breath because you might die.
There's been a lot of legal red tape based on the Wear Foreign Nationals USA type thing as well. So we've just got to get things set up so we can do it. Because otherwise, if we would do it, look at it this way. You've always heard about how Australians talk about how much it costs to get stuff posted here. So you can only imagine how much it would cost you in postage if it was sending it from here to you. So that's why we've been doing stuff in the background, so we can essentially get it made near you and shipped to you, essentially. So there's many moving parts to it. We've had many ideas for merch over the years, and it's coming. Yep. It's coming. Just
one day.
We've got to have people in place to do this too. Like it's not just you got to remember there's a whole team of us as well. So
we're just a face.
Yeah, definitely. As we've grown. Well, do you know what I found out the other day, Algared? The last time I looked at the Discord, we hadn't even hit 2,000 members, and I say that like it's a small amount. But I found out the other day that we're just under 3,000. Someone told me. I was like, holy crap! I haven't checked it in months. So we're definitely growing, and it's a community I'm proud of, because every time I go there, there's always discussions and something interesting that I can look at. And again, tip to the mods, they run that place really well, and they keep it friendly and civil. And anytime trouble arises, I can see them talking and working it out.
Yep, and we see it in the moderation, our moderation channel, and I think
the only time we've got to get involved is when there's a tie between 2 mods, so to speak. So it's very rare these days.
I think the only time I've really got involved is when the mods were talking about action to take, and I looked at the stuff and went, no, went down and went ban. So I just made the choice for them. They went, should we ban them? Is it bannable? And I read it and I went, no. So.
Yeah,
and I've probably the only person that's been banned. So
Algared's
banned a couple as well.
Don't piss old man Hester off. Warning number one. Let's just leave it right there. I'll kind of, give him a second chance. And I was like, no, banhammer.
Yeah. You disrespect that mods, I'll just come down on you.
Yeah.
So
I can now only see you ever say, respect my authority.
Respect my mods. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, again, just don't argue with mods. Like they're just doing a job and they're not being paid. They are there to make sure everything moves smoothly. So if a mod tells you to stop, you stop. It's just that simple. And some people, how do I put this? One of the other things we've learned is text. Oh boy.
Yeah. Text is not your friend.
Text is a slow medium, and people short in everything they say, so it comes off insanely cold. So if we ever have two problems between two people in text, I will force them into rooms and make them voice, and threaten banning them if they don't. And usually they'll go in. And I remember, and if Lemming's honest, there was this guy that had him and Lemming had been kind of going at it, and Lemming's a mod, right? And so I made Lemming was really reluctantly. He's like, "You're crazy. This is never going to work," but it did. And I've seen it with Algared as well. I've actually had to force Algared into voice chats. I've had to push myself into voice chats. But it does work.
The text medium is horrid because often when you're typing, certainly if you're starting to get heated, as you're starting to get excited,
you get shorter and shorter and more angry.
You're just typing faster than your thoughts is racing faster than you're typing, and what you think you're saying is not always what you're saying. But if a mod asks you to stop, don't argue for mods. Just do what they say, because certainly if you come down on the mods, I'll come down on you.
And again, they tend to temporary ban. I think the first temp ban is like 1 minute, and then an hour, and then a day, right? And even that 1 minute is usually enough to cool most people down, because it just
I always say to you, and don't post when you're angry, or don't post when you're annoyed. Type it, but don't post it.
Algared, the number of times I type things in places and then I delete the entire thing.
Yep.
By the time you get to the end of it, you're like, no.
Sometimes I've finished a post and I've left it.
Yeah.
And I come back and read it and go, no, I can't write that. But yeah. I was looking at our chat. What was it? They were talking about old man Hurston banning Uwe girls for saying Drake are pirates, I'll get the ban hammer. And then the question is, what would I do how would I deal with those Uwe girls? And
I've got to correct you there. It's not the ban hammer, it's the ban cane. He does the old, those movies where the old man hits the kids with the cane? That's you.
Yeah. That's a paddling.
Yeah.
That's a paddling. I
don't know what
I would say.
You know, you have like the old people and they have like a fist on their cane, or in Jurassic Park, the guy had. I'm trying to think what an old man hurt. Oh, it's a rock of Evercrack. That's what it is. It's a big rock of Evercrack.
Evercrack's a drink.
Yes, sure.
I keep telling you that. No, it has to be a drink because Paulie the barkeep mixes it.
Okay. Yeah, but you crush up the rock into fine powder and then you mix it in the drink.
Oh, I have to talk to Paulie about that. I don't know the ingredients. He gathers them and we mixes it up and.
Yeah. You don't know what it is. It just feels good when you take it. Yeah, I get it. That sounds like a druggie to me. But anyway, right. All right. Next question. Snowby Trip says: Are they providing an opportunity to get the F8C in the current event? Will they do it again at AIE? Oh, because technically it's just the golden ticket, isn't it? So they're just giving other people a chance to get a golden ticket. That's all that is. That's not actually selling the F8. It's just giving the F8 to people that don't have an F8. I've just realised that.
It's part of the Ship Showdown victory for the F8. They don't want to sell it, and even if they are selling it, they're giving that privilege to people to be able to get it.
Yeah. And you've got to buy it with cash to get LTI. That's the other thing. Like I bought it with credit, so mine's just literally. I'll never buy it because it doesn't have LTI. I'd have to contact concierge to get them to flip it to a Warminder one if I want it. But again, I'm not going to want it, so that's why I brought it with.
But it's no different from any other IAE event where they put up for sale and make it a war bond or whatever. So.
Similar question here from Monster Avery. He says, I would expect that the CC... Well, it's not called CCUs anymore, Monster Avery.
No.
Yeah, upgrades. Upgrades for the F8 with paint are out, but thoughts on if they would limit the best in show combo packs? Seems a way to bypass the. That is a very good. So what he's saying, for those that didn't pick up on, because we stopped talking, obviously, is all four, like the final 4 ships as a combo pack with LTI, so you could get the F8 in a. Yeah, I could see that. I can 100% see that. Yeah.
Well, I do that. Chances are, the sales of that pack would go through a roof.
Can you imagine a best in show complete pack, and it comes with the 890, like all 16, essentially?
Yep, Matt. Don't give them ideas. They'll try it.
Will they? How do I put it? That would be better than half the other packs they bloody sell out. Let's be honest.
Look, if they sold a complete pack of the 16,
I'd probably recommend it because they're all really good ships in there.
And they're all ships that, like, even the 890 jump, it got into those 16 because there was a lot of people saying, we want an 890. You know, the 890 jump is a great ship.
And the ones that you don't like will give you a couple of LTI tokens. You know, those 2 races. Sorry, and the 2 grand vehicles, LTI tokens, but no, I'm just kidding. But
come on, the Nursa, not necessarily an LTI token. It's got value.
It's a
medical.
It's an earning game. Let's be honest.
It is an earning game.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that would certainly give people an option to get the 890 jump, which is a limited hull. It'd give people a chance to get the F8C, which is a limited hull. So I could see people going that way. And going the finals, the final 4. You've got the different price points. And then the different, you know, if people are really after that, the 890 jump, if it's cheaper than the Origin complete pack, yeah, we'd go for that.
So I did send you something during the week too. I'm not going to show it on stream. Oh, it doesn't really matter. But apparently, I did finally find the evidence I've been looking for. I couldn't find it, because I'm kind of blind to text. You know what I'm like. But they did have they did have out of the files that there is a Halloween skin coming from the Terrapin.
Yep, I did see that.
Yeah, so I'd been looking for it everywhere, and who I think it was Just a Riot that linked it to me. He was in chat before earlier, so if you're still there, Just a Riot, thanks for linking that to me. But yeah,
there were 4 ships that were getting it, and the Terrapin was one of them.
Well, that's what. That was the evidence I was looking for the show when we kind of talked about the search and rescue variant or a variant of the Terrapin.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a perfect ship for onboarding. It really is. It's a small ship with internals, and it's got all the components and all that stuff. And as on the video, we talked about on the video. I didn't talk about on the video. I didn't show it on video, did I? But you go into the ship, I showed you on. No, I showed you. That you and I were talking. Yeah, that's right. But all the before they were like empty closets. They've now got most of their components.
Now got
stuff
components inside.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it. You didn't show me because I'd actually already been in and had a look.
No, it was Pissed Off Pete I talked to. That's what it was. Sorry. I talked to so many people. Yeah. But I went through it with Pissed Off Pete.
We talked about that idea as well. But it makes sense. You know, you get people onboarding doing the fighters. You get people on board doing the internals. And one of the things you've often said, you know, making the skins for a ship that hasn't got them takes time. But if you're actually redoing the ship, you do it at the same time. It's kind of saving you time and money and all the rest of it. So it makes sense to, if you're doing a version of a ship and you're doing the internals, that's the best time to do the version because you've got you're working on the internals already, and then it's also a good time to make the skins. So yeah. Nomadic Aviator. So, how should they remodel their way to getting development funding? Should we move to a subscription model? How should they generate funding? Or how should they generate funding?
I don't think they're ever going to get rid of the way they do it currently. It'll just move to a quarterly cadence where they have a new ship every patch. So you can already see what they're doing. Every patch has a name.
Every patch has a ship.
It's like you see in all the other games that have quarterly patches. You know, it's going to be exactly the same thing, and there'll be at least one ship that drops with everyone, and then at the end of that patch is probably when everyone else get access to buy it in game. So you'll have like a 3-month window of exclusivity if you buy it, and it'll probably be available to buy that entire patch for the 3 months or however long. Yeah.
Yep. Osgar says, what is your take on the golden tickets? I really liked Star Citizen because it wasn't any link from a game or launcher to a store, what is the current drop rate of those tickets? And
really, really, really high, because they essentially just wanted you to get in game to make a bit of buzz, but they wanted you to be able to get one to buy the ship. They're really, really easily accessibly available. I just hope they do the platinum again.
Yeah.
I think was it 10 is all they ever released. Yeah, up the numbers on that. And then I think the other thing is make it so it's known on the server that there's one out there somewhere, so people go start looking, and it becomes a little bit like Hunt Showdown, where you're trying to get it back, and people can see where they're traveling and stuff. Like, make it a fight over these things. Like, really make it a fight. Don't just go, oh, I found one. Because we heard things of like devs turning up on live streams and just accidentally dying. So certain content creator got one, and then that makes it a PR campaign. No one's interested in that. Like, give them to genuine people. Make it a real fight, not a gimmick.
Yeah. Commander Briggs, with the release of 3.24 and the usefulness of the cranes on the Raft are once again on display, what would you say to adding a cargo pad on the underside of a cargo area and removing claws?
No, because that ship is clearly going to be a sky crane. And it's designed to unload the whole sea and the whole series of ships. It's really evidently... It's going to fold out, because, again, there's an operating panel literally at that window, like the sky cranes. It's just... One person's going to maneuver the ship and put it in a position, and the other person's just going to be lifting the boxes up, and off they go.
And when you look at the size, it just happens that it looks like it's 3 containers wide. And how big of a container? The width on the... Yeah, 3 containers, so...
Yeah, sounds like the thinking of a machine to me. I've seen the movie. The Matrix. It's in the Matrix. Don't worry.
Yep. Arthur Vanderlei, thank you for the $8 super chat. Always appreciated. Never required, but definitely appreciated. Mikey, 1339. The biggest question is basically a talking comment. Basically talking about commercial products. Zayzef, question, in your opinion, which is the higher likelihood to be next? PTU 3.25 or 4.0?
4.0. They've even said that's what it is. So the next one's 4.0.
Yeah, right. Will we get 4.241, 4.242? How many of those patches? Yeah,
don't care.
There'll be another. There'll be several.
Yeah, easily.
But I think the goal is just to go 4.0 next and just do lots of incremental patches in between if they need to. But
all right, just so you know, we're down to 9 questions. So basically, if you want to get some more questions, get them in, because we're only just past halfway mark of the show. So,
and I thought we were a lot further because we'd
done a lot.
Quite a lot.
But again, that's probably why there's not a lot of questions, because we've been babbling. But yeah. If you want to get a question in, please do so, because you know how this works. Right. What was the next one, Aaron? Ostentatious. Can you do that one?
I'll go back, because the claw question. Commander Briggs in chat has said the claws just seem to hinder that process when the MPVU already has a cargo pad for 32SU for a 32SU crate. So
again,
I get it.
They're going to go down and then just going to grab it in one go and come up. Like, it's yeah. And even if the ship doesn't kind of like go down like a sky crane, it's going to come up and land on the whole sea, pick it up, and do its thing. It's clearly
I could even see.
It's clearly designed to unload the whole series of ships. It's like everything Algared said before is just it's when there's so many coincidences, it cannot be that way. It has to be that way. Type of thing.
Could they obliterate the claws on it and put tractor beams in, as you said? Sure.
Yeah.
But it's still going to do the same job. It's still going to be built to.
It's still the sky crane mentality, even if it's like the claw part could literally just be tractor beams that pull it up and it just claws and holds it on, right? Again, it just, we'll wait and see, but it is really evident because there's a lot of extra polygons up there, so it's way more than it should be, but it shows that it's going to more than likely extend out or unfold, and you can see it when you look at it. You can see that there's all these rails and stuff, and it does look like it expands out to 3 wide. Yeah.
It just seems logical. It just seems to make sense. Does it need the claws to do that? No. Could it use tractor beams? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've certainly got the tech, which leverages their rope tech, as we saw when we were playing with tractor beams.
Yeah. But I almost envision it.
Can those claws just be clamps? Absolutely. But
so I'm almost envisioning it. So the way it folds out is it sits in such a way that it's just above the port, so to speak. The whole sea kind of comes in, and it allows it to literally kind of move the crane across, pick up the stuff, come back, drop it, load it off. Just this over and over.
Yep.
In rapid succession, like they do on the ports in real life.
Yep. Yeah. Like those big trains on the ports that literally just keep moving backwards and forwards.
Yeah. And that just allows the ship to be that long without being ridiculously long. And if you think about it, that's also why it's got living quarters on it, because you can go between ports or where you're required and travel. You know, it allows you to travel and live where you work, essentially. Anyway.
Okay. So
I don't know where we're up to now. Didn't you read Ostentatious one?
No.
Okay, right. Is that where we're up to?
That is where we're up to, but I'm going to jump in with Mr.
Mr. E? No? Which one?
Mr. E's question, which is, are you two always so charming? Well, I'd say we're always charming and elegant, but the truth is probably
Lemming, come in Discord.
Lemming knows. Lemming knows. Lemming's probably seen it more than most. No.
Yeah.
No, I do have some arguments.
Especially in the summer when and around AIE, I tend to lose it, and if I lose it, Algared will bitch slap me back into reality. Let's just put it that way. So yeah.
Yeah, it's usually when we're on the verge of banning it, of wanting to ban each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
We do get to that. We do get to that point in summer when it's absolutely murderously hot, like 40 odd degrees plus, or when we're both super tired. So if we've both had situations where we haven't slept, and we're both absolute bastards when we're tired.
And we'll even say that now, like I said before today's show, I said I haven't had enough sleep. So sorry, apologies if I'm going to be nippy, and I tend to
sometimes we say that, and it's actually appreciated if we do notice it beforehand and say it, because it just flags it for the other person. So sometimes we'll come in. I think I said it. You responded, and I said that was a bit rude.
Yeah, you did. And I said,
I didn't sleep well last night.
Yeah. Because Algared was talking, and I was trying to do like we were late, and I was trying to get stuff done, and I'm like, Algared, just shut up! I'm trying to do stuff, and you're distracting me. And then he goes, that was so rude. And I go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't sleep well. And then I go, look, you've done it again. You got me talking instead of
It's just the way it is. So we do try to accommodate each other's weaknesses and foibles at times, and sometimes we fail.
Yep.
Sometimes we misread each other, but generally we try to be nice to each other. I know it's a radical concept online these days.
I think tolerance is a big thing too. We definitely try to be tolerant with each other. Yeah.
So going back to the questions, Ostentatious had a question, and that was, do you reckon?
Wait. Did you see how he spelled reckon? Is that how you actually? That is not how you spell reckon.
No.
There's no way you spell reckon with a W.
No.
It's with an R.
It is an R. It should be an R. R-E-A-K. R-E-A-C.
Yeah, you got that wrong. That's fine.
Yeah, I got it wrong. I botched it.
Must be American. His name's Austin too. He's probably from Texas.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you reckon that will just end selling the F7A upgrade for the current F7C, given every trope that they have already broken? I'm expecting this year as sorry for 4.0 being late, just like the F7A was a sorry for late server mission.
If they were going to sell it and just up and sell it, it would be when they drop the tracker and the ghost. Yeah. And we know that that's coming soon.
Because of the track? Because of the
progress tracker.
The progress tracker.
What is it? Mark 2. Oh shit, I can't spell for shit. MK. I'm turning into Ostentatious.
Yep, that's okay.
That's right. Sorry, ostentation. I'm not giving you shit. It's banter. I like you. If I'm giving you shit, that means I like you. That's an Australian thing.
That's an Australian thing.
Yeah.
You only give shit to people you care about.
Yeah. So you've got where is it? Man, why am I reading it on the small screen? I should read it on the big screen. So it's we've got the tracker here,
the ghost
and the ghost. So those are the two important ones. And look, dead where they finish.
Yep.
They've just ended. And actually,
hang
on. Didn't we look at this before and they ended like over here somewhere? So they've ended early. Am I mistaken?
I can't recall. Yeah. You'd have to go back and have a look. But the other one of note, there's two other ones of note.
Oh, the M.
One's the Zeus and the
and the two Zeuses
and the F7CM.
I might just leave those closed because otherwise it drops off the screen. But that means we're getting the M that's before AIE. But that also look in October. That means both Zeuses are going to be there for CitizenCon because the 20th would be, let's say, after the halfway point of October, and it's God, my hand just keeps disappearing. It's really annoying. But you see my point, right? So this one's done as well. Look, this has ended early, which is the
Yes, I think the chat has decided that the calling it a progress tracker is probably not 100%. It's the intention tracker.
Oh, the intention tracker.
The intention tracker. I like
Best laid plans tracker or one of those. Yeah, but yeah. But that's all kind of cool. So these are a lot of the variants that I think we're getting. So it'll be interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
let's be honest. This is a serious question, right? Do you think they learn from the release of the Mark II? Or are we seeing $50 price points on these two puppies?
Look,
three puppies, sorry.
I would really hope that they go, if you've got a Mark 1 Ghost, it's now a Mark 2 Ghost. If you've got a Mark 2 tracker, if you've got a Mark 1 tracker, it's now Mark 2 tracker. I really hope they do that rather than hit us with another $50 price jump. Because that was...
So what's Scorpius is 225, yeah? Off the top of my head. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. 225 for a Scorpius, or is it more than that? No, 225 is the Antares. The Scorpius is more than that. Oh god, stop it! I'm not even going to sit here and argue with my own head. I'm just going to look it up.
All right, Jack Raven. Then give everyone a $0 CC $0 upgrade from the Mark 1 to the Mark 2 and apply it if you want.
240.
But I really
okay.
But I really don't want to see another $50 price jump.
Yeah, 240, 220 war bond. Okay, right. So the reason I bring this up is I did the math. I can math, believe it or not. But that makes the Super Hornet be 235. That sounds like CIG logic to me.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like this. I do not like this.
I think for people who have got the models already, especially the models that have not even been, we haven't had the Ghost have its full functionality. We haven't had the tracker have its functionality.
Yeah. That's a little bit disgusting to expect people to pay. I think they should be offered free ones, like a one time. You like for the if you don't apply it within a certain time, it's just deleted from your account. But basically, you've got 6 months to apply this, and if you don't apply it,
I just think you leave it in the account until they say finalize your fleets.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But they don't. If you buy one, like
after that,
you don't get one. And again, I would make it like a date before now. So if you bought it after Invictus, it doesn't count. Or something like that.
So after the Mark II's come out, tough.
Yeah, tough shit. You don't get it. But if you've had one sitting there for 10 years or whatever, you get it for free type of thing. Because that's where the bad taste is, right? I brought this ship expecting this level of gameplay. This would be that ship, and now it's been superseded, and I have to pay money to get to where. That's not fair.
You've actually you've brought in the Mark II.
Yeah.
The Mark 1 didn't even see the light of day.
Yeah.
You're really saying we're not even going to be going forward. We're not going to be selling this.
Yeah.
It's just a bad taste.
Yeah, essentially you just got so people are trying to work it out. Like Jack Raven's saying some stuff. Yeah. So yeah. Well, if that's $200, man, you got to add $50. You've done the math correctly. Yeah. That's what scares me. And then again, you start to look at things. Is sometimes they scale the more expensive they get. They're on percentage.
Yep.
Is it not 250? Is it 220? Oh, sorry, 260. This is where I start to get. It's a scary slope. But it's not like if it was $20, Algared, would you and I be complaining? Yep. No, I don't think we would. Not. But like, 50 is substantial.
That's a lot.
That's an Aurora LN game package plus $5. That's the entire game again. That's crazy.
Yeah, but Heartbreaker is a challenge as well because it is unique because of its skin. But
they'll be able to update it now because they're making the Mark 2. They're making the Mark 2. But this is bad juju. This is taking years of goodwill and going, I'll have another things. Give me more.
Yep.
This is the definition of money grab. Now, I understand with new people, but the older people, they should have just gone, here, have a free CCU because you're a loyal customer. You've been here since the beginning. You treated us right. We're going to treat you right. Or give them a discount. Instead of $50, maybe it's 50% off and it's $25. Even that I could have swallowed out.
Now, Jack Raven says, will they do a Mark II wildfire?
Sorry, I really just want to get your answer on that. Would you, a discounted upgrade, that would have been in good taste, yeah? Rather than $50 to people that have held onto the ship for so long.
I would have rather see them do a $0 upgrade for those who take the ship.
But a compromise would have been $25.
A compromise would have been, something that was less than whatever. But yeah, for everyone who had the ship, it should have been a $0. In my opinion.
We've got people that can't even afford to buy the game, and you're literally charging that just for an upgrade out of the blue.
Now, in terms of this, I really, because the gameplay for the tracker and the Ghost has never been there.
Yeah.
If they do any price increase on those from the Mark 1 to the Mark 2, that is an absolute, in my opinion, disgusting. For the Super Hornet and its upgrade, that I think becomes a little bit more problematic, and I can see this with the F7C. As much as I hate it, the F7C and the F7CM, they've both been in game, they've both been used. I can see the new version. I can get behind. Okay, this is a brand new version of a ship. You've been playing with this ship. You've been using this ship. This is updated. Yep. You can keep your old one, or you can buy an upgrade to it for a small fee. But I think the Ghost and the Tracker, they need to be $0 upgrades.
Yep.
And you keep it or you apply it.
Yep.
Or you buy the new one. But yeah, that's where I'm with that. Jack Raven asked, will they do a what was it? The Wildfire variant? I hope not. Because the Wildfire is literally just components. Every one of those components that are on the Wildfire, you can get in game. Every one of them. It doesn't have change hard points. It doesn't have change component sizes. It is literally an F7C with different components in it, and you can get every one of those components in game. The only thing you're paying that $25 or whatever dollars for is the skin.
Now, for our non-Australian viewers, you won't get this, but as a famous Australian once said, Algared, tell him he's dreaming. Because there's no way they ain't doing that.
Yeah. This is not the castle.
Yeah.
But well, that's our castle, but yeah.
You're living in fantasy. I don't think they're going to do that, Algared. I'm sorry. But yeah. No, I agree with you on everything you said, though. That they're going to. You just know.
You know they're going to try and and to which I will say, tell them they're dreaming, because I will not buy.
It's literally like the steamroller Austin Powers thing. Like, you see the accident coming, but you just know it's coming no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, it's so far away, but it's gonna happen. Yeah. Crazy.
Yep.
Right.
Dead Frag picks up the discussion earlier, I think. When will we get Polaris Racing variant? No weapons or interior, just one seat and Macajisa speeds.
I think when you get to the bigger ships like that, I did answer someone, because this is people trying to pull apart the racing of all classes argument. I think when it gets to the bigger ships, it will just be those ships. They won't have racing variants, so to speak. They'll just use those ships in racing. But I do think you'll eventually see a race of some description. Like, let me put it this way. I could see a hauling race in whole E's and D's from one side of the solar system to the other. I can totally see that as a thing.
We already have classes for every ship in the Crux Cup. The Crux Cup, you can take an 890 jump or a Reclaimer or a Hercules or whatever, and you can race them around the track. And you know those ships may only get an 890 jump, may only get 1 or 2 laps in the whole race time. But the advantage of those big ships on the track at the same time as the small ships is it's more things to avoid.
Yeah.
So it just adds to it. But down the track,
I see. That's another. Sorry, that's another one, Algared. See, Commander Briggs, wouldn't that just be, look, who's the fastest quantum drive? No. Because you'll be stopping and starting, and there'll be areas where you can't use a quantum drive. There might be a nebula. Think of all the sci-fi shows you've ever seen, where they've got there might be things that attack you. You might have gates. So you got to go down into atmosphere. There's heaps of things you can put there that they have to go through.
Well, just look at.
Where do you get your fuel from? You got to run out of fuel. You can't go from one side of the solar system to the other and not stop and get fuel. At some point, even if your whole cargo is fuel, you're going to have to stop and get more. And I don't know about you, Algared, but I can't get out of my spaceship. Well, I guess you can. But I was just get out, pour it in out the window into the fuel tank.
Yep. Look, if you look at Pyro has the sun that gives those pulses that ruin your ship.
Mm-hmm.
So those multi-crew ships, you know, any of those big ships that are racing are going to have their engineers running around and fine-tuning the equipment or taking out the burnt modules and putting new modules, you know, the little...
Yep. And you saw that in those sci-fi shows, didn't you, Algared? Like, oh, you drive, well, I go modulate the shields or whatever so we can get through this really shitty area. It's such a trope in it. Every classic sci-fi series has at least one racing ship episode. Yeah.
And where they modulate the shields to you know, counter such and such. So you can see the engineering. You can 100%. I can see those multiplayer ships doing distance racing where the engineers will be fine tuning the ships and doing so, and the team is doing it. I don't want to see Polaris racing with just one seat.
And what's to say
racing where you've got your crew, and
what's to say there's not a part of it where you got to land the Polaris and then all of a sudden there's a vehicle that's got to drive out to pick something up because the Polaris can't go there or whatever. You know, again, it'd be part of a marathon. You know what I mean? Like a ship where you got to change ship. What if you've got to deliver a ship to somewhere and then the fighter or whatever ship that comes out of that is another part of the race? You know, there's so many places you can go with it.
Again, look at the episode that we looked at yesterday. You know, the ISC, where you know the conflict resolution. You land your ship and take your vehicle in. So because there's so much in the air, you can't take your ship in. So you take your vehicle in.
Yep.
So you do that with cargo pickup. You know, there's atmospheric disturbance, there's EMP shield, whatever it is. You know, so you land your ship, drive your vehicle, pick up your box, drive it back, then go. All of those types of elements that you can bring into that race will challenge crews and make the crews have to work together. And I can see that type of racing. Yeah, it's almost like racing triathlon. Or a pentathlon, if you like. But yeah, I can see that.
Right. Sarbon95 says, as a relatively newcomer, okay, nice to see you. We don't get a lot of newcomers. Who would only join CitizenCon about a year ago? That's pretty good. I perceive SC as a realism/simulation heavy game with interactions like dying / shipping, destroying, having a critical emphasis on which lends weight to actions by decisions taken by the players. With the latest 4.0 preview and the MMO-like dungeon experience, I feel SC is leaning more towards gamer arcadey direction lately. I would appreciate a veteran perspective on it. I think Algared kind of said this before. It's going to have everything in it.
Yeah. It's going to have elements that appeal to everyone. It is going to be the FPS. It is going to be the cargo hauling. It is going to be everything else. Do I think they're going to have?
They did say
more arcadey.
They did say you're not going to die as frequently as you do now. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that.
Well, maybe.
And I was just going to say the simulation is just like the underlying part of it.
Yeah. Look, we know that in the law they've talked about the regeneration tech has a problem. We don't know what the law problem is with that. But I imagine it's going to be due to how often you can live before you, how many regenerations you get before you die. I think that's what it's going to be linked to. So it might be, you know, originally we were told, you know, figures were like 10 or 20 or whatever. Maybe it's 100. Who knows how many times it'll be regen before it happens. But we know it's going to happen. Because at the moment we haven't heard anything different. And so, you know, and then when the other things we've seen where CIG have brought stuff out, it isn't changing what we've said years ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to get arcadey parts. Again, Chris talked a lot about Battlefield 2 when I interviewed him, and about, you know, we've even heard Disco kind of repeat things like this over the years where you want to make the game fun and have the realism part. So, you know, you can add, you got to find the middle ground between the two, but fun trumps realism. That's a pivotal thing.
They'll push that realism aspect, and that's one of the things I swear I even heard it in one of the episodes recently, where they talked about we want it real, but we then dial, you know, literally, and we then
bring it back to the fun.
Bring it back to the
fun. That
was
the line Disco used. I would have done it the other way. I'd be like the fun and then push the realism, but that, you know, because fun's more important than realism. But yeah.
But I think getting the realism and then pulling it back to the fun level, I think, is a good way, especially if you're trying to make it as realistic as possible. But it means sometimes they're going to miss it. Sometimes it will be too gamey. Sometimes it'll be too far the other way.
It's a balance, is it not?
It is getting that balance, and sometimes they'll hit it on the head and sometimes they won't. And and then they might tweak it again later on. I do expect we'll see, I think Squadron will probably be a bit more gamey.
Yeah.
Well,
it's definitely more on the combat side, isn't it?
And the reason I think we'll see Squadron is more like that is because we do know, or we're 100%. Well, I won't say we know, but we're pretty confident that Squadron is going to be both on console and PC, and the question is just release times. So, and I think because of that, because consoles do tend to be, the control systems are different, it'll have that more gamey feel rather than in the PU. But that's just my rampant speculation at that point.
I don't think it's speculation anymore.
But in terms of the gaminess of it, I mean.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I think you're living in a dream world if you don't think it's coming to consoles at this point.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I think it's without a doubt, and it doesn't, and that's not making. I know people get on the bandwagon and say, "Oh no, CIG said." No, they said, but they were building a PC game. Doesn't mean they're not going to port it to consoles, and I think they're nuts if they don't.
I actually have another running theory about. I haven't talked about this with you extensively. But I have another running theory about why the game might have been delayed and the polishing and stuff. If you don't follow the game stuff as much as I do, but there's a rumor flying around at the moment that at the end of September, they're announcing the PS5 Pro. Now, if you imagine that also for Xbox, so like a new console refresh, what does that mean for Squadron 42? All of a sudden, you've got to make
we've got to make sure it's suitable for that.
You see where I'm going? And I'm wondering if that...
I could see that. Yeah. I could see that. They develop... And you can almost see the developers going, oh, yeah, but to make this game work, we've had to update. And so you can almost see there's a two-way traffic going where they're... Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I could see that. That kind of adds a little bit more as to the reasoning as to why the polish is taking longer than expected, or
Again, it's just sitting here trying to figure out reasons why they would delete this shit.
And we could be totally off the rock. We could be totally dreaming, you know.
But again, they want to, because it's a new platform, so they've got to specifically optimize it for that. So they'd go back through and they actually do that level of optimization because it's specifically a fixed hardware device. So they have to go back through and make sure it doesn't like they essentially have to play the game again to make sure those settings don't lag. But then they're trying to dial it up as high as they can get it without it lagging to get the best performance for every person that plays it. So, yeah.
100%.
I believe that's the Illuminati, but Pete's putting Illuminati conspiracy theories.
My chat for Twitch is constantly spiraling.
So he's just
the video's still going, but
so Pete's just parroting things I've said in the past, but I agree with him. So we've seen the Xbox Game Dev app on screen, cap live feeds of CI machines in the past, and CI loves his Xbox controller. Up until recently, I think it was the Carrick flying through the jump point, they had never not been done on a controller.
Yeah,
the dev
I can remember seeing those dev packs when they what would have been 2014, 2015 when they were going through showing us, going through the studio and showing us the different people, and they showed us the IT guys. The IT guys, there was them on the shelves, and you're going, oh.
Yeah, I like Monster Avery brings up something that I've thought about too. Could they release the PC version at CitizenCon and then just delay the consoles? I would have no problem with that, and I don't think a lot of people would. But then you start to think, does it affect sales of the console versions?
And I think CIG could do it, and I think that may be one of the questions they're debating.
Yeah, who knows?
In terms of that whole release date, do we release the PC version or the Xbox version? Do we release them together? And I think that's a discussion they're having.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's not happening. Yeah.
The marketing people would have weighed in. Everyone would have been talking about there. But I think we can all kind of say the fact that the gala has disappeared.
It's a fact. I think it's
such a telltale sign. Whenever that gala turns up, guys, or gala-esque, right? Whatever they change the name to, that's the release. Because it's tied to celebrities, and wherever those celebrities drop, that'll be a chip that they can only hand in once because it will be contractually obliged or whatever.
Contractual obligation.
Yeah, that's the one. And they will hand that in once, and it'll drum up a shitload of hype, and all these people will turn up, and all these the journalists will turn up, and it'll pump the game like crazy to the masses, and that's what it's for.
And if people don't believe that, just remember the hype that went with Keanu Reeves doing
Cyberpunk.
The Cyberpunk, and that was just one. Yeah. When you've got
$5 to whoever walks up to Algared and says you're breathtaking as CitizenCon, by the way, right? Yeah, keep going.
Huh? What?
Nothing. No, I didn't say anything. You didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And he'll come to me and say. And I would just laugh. Anyway, right.
Mm-hmm.
It was a positive thing, Aaron. It was positive. Don't worry.
I'll take your word for it.
You can go back and watch the episode later. Trust me, it was positive.
Okay. Yeah. Xerox Masters says, you think John Crew was trolling on purpose when he said the Saber was wanted as a racer? Well, I don't think he actually said it was wanted as a racer, but we do know John Crew is a troll. We know that from Space Tomato, who asked him specifically, at CitizenCon, are you doing a panel? To which John Crew said no. And then 5 minutes later,
he was on stage.
doing a panel.
Yeah. Maybe he was just saying it like an oxymoron, because why the hell do you think I'm here?
Yeah.
Why would I be here if I wasn't going to be on stage?
That would be very much an Australian.
He's travelled all the way to the LA, and I'm not going on stage. I'm just here for a holiday. Like,
yeah, I could actually see that as being. Are you serious? I'm here. Of course I'm doing it. It's like, no, I'm not doing a show. Now that you said that, it does.
Makes a lot of sense. I just don't think
it changes. Yeah. No, he was, but he trolled me too. No, he's just being.
No, Americans don't troll like we do. The only Americans I know that troll at all that I get on with really well are the military guys, right? Because they've got that kind of Aussie camaraderie, and I know English people do a lot of banter. They're somewhere between the Americans and us, but again, I can see that he was just bantering with him, but he probably missed it.
Yeah.
The other part of the question,
we're probably in between America and UK, but same thing. It's exactly what you're saying. You know,
because the other part of what Zarek said there at the end, you missed the last part. He says, "Surely everyone thought it was a QED, right?" And that is correct. Yeah, everyone thought it was a QED.
100%.
Yeah.
So, and John Crew never said. I did not hear John Crew say that the racing variant was the one everybody had wanted.
Yeah, I'd also put that to him as well, because again, the previews were posted on Twitter, right? And you go through the Twitter post, and it was almost like every second thing said QED, 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 and I don't even remember reading racing. Now maybe I can go back to the post and that maybe later on there was a lot, but on the first day it was all QED.
Yeah, I can't remember hearing racing at all.
Yeah.
But did they have variants? Yeah, I'm sure they had a whole pile of variants they wanted. Did they have the QE? Did they have the variant everyone wanted yet? Yeah. No. Does that mean it's not coming? No.
Yeah. Like you said in the episode, though, Algared, yes, it could be coming, but that would be the most variants of a ship we have.
Yeah.
We're at 5. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's as many as we've got with, I think, well, certainly the Aurora has 5. I don't think the Mustang has 5. I think that's got 4. No, 5 with it's got 5 with the Omega, I think.
So again, Zarek. So Zarek's trying to correct us. He says on SCL, he said the new Sabre is the one everyone thought the Firebird was. That's correct. Everyone thought the Firebird was a QED.
Yep.
Nobody thought it was a racer. I didn't see any things in that thread that said racer. They were all QED. So because of the red, because in the clue it was red, and everyone, red is QED.
Yep. So, and that raises the question for me: were they originally planning that? And then did legal go? Well, actually, it's still too close. So, don't know.
Maybe maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I don't know.
But I certainly do think that I think the Firebird, not the Firebird, the Firebird and the Paragan are both onboarding ships. Both ships that are used to onboard new people.
Is that what you think? I think they were both underwhelming.
Yeah, I think they were both both developed or made to onboard people. And, were they? Yeah. I don't think they're that great a ship. Well, you've heard me say I think the Paragan is a steal.
I think in the long run they will not be remembered fondly.
No, I think it was, like I said, I think it was just to get a new person up to speed on building ships. That's I could be wrong, but that's my thought.
Right, Zarek Master says. You think? Oh, that's the one we did. All right, John Flick. What's your? So you ticked it too late. That's your fault, not mine. All right. John Flick says, "What's your 4.0 time guess? What do you think CitizenCon will be about?" About this long or that long? Somewhere in there. Yeah, about that.
It's this big.
I think we said it earlier though. Well, I did. AIE at the latest. Would you agree with that one?
We'd hope. They want to get it out this year. I'm pretty certain they want to get it out this year. That's been their goal, their hope.
I think they'll be guns a-blazing trying to get it all done for CitizenCon.
Yep.
Like heads down, ass up type of thing, like bums in seats trying to get it done. But I think they've already delayed it on the roadmap. That's a real telltale sign that it's they ain't making it. But it doesn't mean they won't have demos ready to show us that can still sell the stuff that they need to sell. They'll just say, but this will be coming at AIE, or this will be here next month. It won't be, this is ready to go today. It'll be, this is coming in 4.0. That's what all the talks will be like. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get a message from your hot date? Are we holding you up, Algared?
No.
No? Oh, okay. You got somewhere you got to be?
No, just messaging back to YouTube chat.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, yeah.
So,
Yep. All right. What's next?
AKA, I have a question. Gents, how long do you believe some of the other larger ships will take to come out? Kraken or Expanse?
Wait, hang on.
I would imagine.
The larger... Wait. Man, I'm starting to think that this is a dick measuring contest. He just said Kraken or Expanse, and then before that he said the other larger ships. The Expanse is not big. It is micro. Just gonna say there's something to miss there. Anyway.
And thank you for that super chat. And Inforunners #1. Yay.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yep. I think he means. Let's read between the lines. I think he means Endeavor. Is that what you think he means? If he's talking about bigger ships?
Yeah. Clearly, he's when you're asking us, it's got to be the Endeavor that you're talking about. But if we're talking the bigger ships or the ships that are multi-crew that haven't been released yet,
Odyssey might be the one as well. So Odyssey, bigger mist ships. We'll just call it that. But yeah, absolutely. So the Odyssey or the Endeavor. Yep. Look, essentially this question we're getting into is what is the next family of ships coming after us? So this is that old chestnut again, yeah.
It is that whole question of what the family ships they're going to build, and that's.
I will say this because I've said it before. I think we'll get our answer at AIE or CitizenCon.
Yeah.
Whatever that big ship that comes, and we've had big ships come at CitizenCon, and we've had big ships come at AIE, but that's where they come in that 1 month window from October to November, right? So whatever ship comes, I think that will be a big tip of the hat. But what I'm honestly expecting is a Drake ship based on.
I'm expecting a Drake ship simply because we had the
Ironclad, and the comment we got about between the Caterpillar to the Kraken needs to be filled out.
And then we got the Ironclad, and that's what.
And then when you layer the Squadron 42 lens on that, what do you get out of that for Squadron 42? Can the Ironclad be used in Squadron 42? Can the Kraken be used in Squadron 42? And then you look at the other big capital ships that are announced that are out there, Pioneer, the Orion, the Endeavor. That's probably the only other real capitally sized one. Like I'm talking mega capital, like Javelin, Kraken.
And of those, the only other one that I could see from that list being really Squadron is the.
And why is that?
The Orion.
No. It's the Kraken because it's combat based.
You can use that. But apart from the Drake ones, the only one I could see being used in Squadron is the Orion because you've got the mining base. But then
but that's
significantly smaller, so doesn't count.
But that's episode 1. We're moving on to episode 2. It's going to be a change of venue. You're not going to have the mining thing anymore.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think
they've already got this shell of the Orion done too, so they could technically just use it in the background anyway. But I'm talking about one that you need to go into and like the externals. What does the Kraken give you? And we've talked. I feel like we're repeating ourselves, Algared. Every episode we talk about something like this, but it gives you the opportunity, storyline wise, to join the bad guys, become the renegades. And we've said this before, but I think it's a real telltale sign. Like if there's another Drake ship, like a big one that is announced at CitizenCon or AI, I think it is a guaranteed the next family is Drake. But again, you tell me, I would expect that update at CitizenCon. Would you not?
Yep. I would expect that update. I'd expect that large ship, the next large ship, to be announced at CitizenCon. And I think they'd say the next family ships that we're going to do is they'll announce that at CitizenCon.
I don't even mean that. I just mean them talking about what family they're going to work on next. If they actually tell us what family they're working on next, I would then go, right, that means there's a big Drake ship coming at the next sale. Because they've literally said they're going to fill out that gap. Either way, whichever order it comes in, big ship, then announcement, or announcement, then big ship, I think it's very telling. You can guess which one the other's going to be, so to speak.
And not saying they are, but the evidence seems to be at the moment Drake. Just because they've got the Ironclad drop, we've got the Kraken already there. You put a Corvette in there, which we know John Crew has hinted at as well in the past. Those 3 ships are a family of large ships that kind of fills out that hole for Drake.
I think
it makes sense.
I think the other part is, like, me and Algared are not exactly Drake fanboys, so to speak, but like you got to look at it with a realism lens on, and the big ships that are out there, they don't give you any gameplay for Squadron 42. And and the reason I put this is bring it back to the Polaris. Why are they working on the Polaris right now? What does it give you for Star Citizen? Diddly shit. It just doesn't. It doesn't give you anything, right? Other than it's something that you can stress the servers with. But the Idris is already there to do that. They don't need that. That's just for us. Take your us lens off and actually put the developer needs and the needs of the game. It's clearly Squadron 42 related to Episode 2. Because then it's all up and running and they can move straight into production of Episode 2 and they've already got the asset to work with. And so now they can animate on the ship and have people walking around. You see where I'm going? You got to have the cart before the horse. They had to make the Idris before they could do all the shit, like the food court and all that shit. They had to have it up and running so they could do all that. It's a no-brainer to why it's being made now. It's just so obvious. And again, whatever the next family will be because we also know in Squadron, well, for example, we know you go between the Javelin and the Idris, right? There's more than one ship that you work on. So again, it'll probably be the same thing in Episode 2. Do you expect, Algared? Yes or no?
Yeah. Oh, look, I fully expect that. There'll be locations you have to go. And we know absolute 100% where we start on the Javelin. How do we know that? Because we saw the cutscene at the start where you were looking at your screens.
Well, I put it back to you, Algared. Besides the Polaris, what's another ship that you can go on? Now, the only other one I can think of that's even remotely related is the Perseus.
Yes. And that makes sense as well, because we know the Perseus was around at Battle of Vega.
And it's tiny, and we also know that they're working on it because it's a family of ships, right? But then I have just heard someone go, oh, but they also mentioned the Galaxy. But the Galaxy gives you base building for Star Citizen.
Yeah.
That's what that's there for. So the Galaxy also gives you the medical stuff, and it's like a triple effect. You get a bunch of things with the Galaxy. That's why the Galaxy is the way it is. And I'd almost also bet that's why it's got those very specific modules, because they're all things that they need.
Yep. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
It just makes...
It makes a lot of sense.
Raven says the Ironclad is like decades away. Maybe. He does say just kidding.
I think you'll find it's closer than you think.
Well, he did say just kidding, but the next line. But
well, again, I'll just put this out there, and I don't know this particular person listening, so I'm being very cautious about what I'm about to say because I don't want to give any of my sources away. But you think about what they've done with the Caterpillar, and that it happens to be the same size. And then start to think of the things that they could do storyline-wise, upgrading the Caterpillar to a bigger ship that has this nice big square box to work in.
Yep.
And you can see what you could use it for very quickly.
And then you look at the I'm going to assume you're talking the Galaxy and the Caterpillar there, because the same cargo capacity between them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you've got the Galaxy RSI and you've done that, you've worked on the modularity of those ships, and you go to Drake and you work on the Caterpillar and you look at the modularity that you got for that. I could see that being the case.
Well, I'm also talking a little bit about the claustrophobic nature of the Caterpillar, right?
Yep.
So if you instantly look at the Ironclad compared to the Caterpillar, what is its one distinct difference is it's just the open spaces of it. So what can you do in that cargo hold? You've got so much more room to work in.
Yep.
Think of all the cinematics you can put in there. Think about all that type of analogy. And again, knowing that it's Squadron 42 related, plus the Kraken, you see where I'm going with this. It is a bad ship, as in the pirate-like ship. and you join the Renegades. I can see the storyline. It makes so much sense. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can just so see it because we already know that the bad humans, so to speak, are in Squadron 42. And think about all the movies that you've ever seen where, Luke, I am your father, that type of thing. The bad guys all of a sudden join you, and look at all the riffs
especially when we know the Vandal are coming as well.
Yeah, so. the little fights in the story. So you and this guy had this riff all this time in the first episode, and now you've got to work together. You can see how this shit makes itself. All the conflictions, all the interesting dynamics that are going to come out of it. It's a writer's wet dream. Like that's I would be so surprised if that's not where this is going.
Yep. And Jack Raven, thank you for the 5 gifted Inforunner memberships on YouTube.
Oh, damn.
So Deplorable Gaming, All It, Mr. Gold Ember, Geronimo, and Rusty Pigeon. Nope. And that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of those 5 people, you scored a 1-month membership from.
Where the hell did you see that? I can't even get that. I can't even get that to come up. It's taken over my entire. Oh, there we go. All right. I think that chat window is too small. Right. Let's have a look.
Because I've got my YouTube chat open.
Oh, yeah, now I see it. Yeah, okay, I can see it now.
That's how come I see it. So, yeah.
I think that's only the second one of those we've ever got.
Yeah. But thank you for that. That is most appreciated, and I'm sure those people will enjoy being members of the channel for a month and avoiding those horrible ads that come up at times.
Yeah.
I believe that's probably the biggest advantage you get from membership, isn't it?
I don't hate anyone, Jake. I don't. So, I don't even know what I said to you, to be honest, to make you think I hate you. But yeah, man, you want to come talk to me? You come talk to me. Just get on Discord and come talk to us. We're very approachable like that, so we don't hate anyone. But yeah, what's the next question?
Next question is from Nomadic Aviator, who says, "Why not bring regular guests on and meet them to tear the one-way down a little?"
Well, you're a content creator, Nomadic Aviator. Get on the Discord and voice, and I'll drag you in right now if you want.
Yeah. If you want to be on channel,
yeah, come on in. Yeah, he's a real life combat pilot.
All right.
So he'd know all the tricks and turns and stuff. Yeah. We can ask him what it's like to. I wonder if we have to ask him what it's like to eject from a combat. Oh, they wouldn't actually eject them out of real ships, would they? They'd do it out of like a simulated thing where they just drop them out of a plane. Or shoot him with a cannon out of a plane, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works. We'll have to ask him at some point. But yeah. All right.
Just checking whether he's popped into general. Nope.
Nope. Why not bring on regular gents to meet them and tear the one-way down a little? I don't know. What does he mean by that? Is that in lingo that I don't understand? Is that like come down to the normal people level? You guys are too high up. That's what I'm hearing. Like it's tall poppy syndrome.
Is he picking up the the one-way big ships earn down idea? I don't know what he means by that. If you're still there, Nomadic Aviator, let us know.
Yeah. We did used to regularly do voice ones, but we tend to have a mod sitting there to check everyone's voice and all that type of stuff. But if you are in chat and you literally want to ask a question in voice, maybe I should make this a standard thing that the Nightbot puts out. If you actually want to ask your question in voice, jump into the Discord and maybe message Algared, and Algared will see it before I will, because I've got everything kind of muted for the stream. But yeah, maybe message Algared, and Algared will pull you up and
we'll have a. I think the reason they mods do it is because usually we do the check. Yeah. The reason we do it, the reason we our mods usually do the checking is because they do the check in the supporters channel and then make sure the mics are working. Whereas we try and do it, we have to leave a recording and then we.
Yeah. And some people get on and think their mics. No. I was talking with I won't say the person's name, but they didn't realize he was saying that his toddler had chewed on his microphone, and when he was talking, it was just like cat scratch, like scream, digital distortion, and he's like, and then and I'm like, dude, you're killing me. Ears are bleeding. it was real bad. So yeah. Right. Next question, please.
Yeah, Monster AV says testing ejection seats with fighters would be very expensive, rather fast. Yes, it would.
Yeah. That's what I realized after I said it. I'm like, yeah, that was my what do you call it?
Fupa.
No, what was I saying? When we were talking before the show, and I said, I'm trying to make layman. That was my layman analogy, but yeah, I realized my mistake afterwards. Right. Shock 17 or Shocker 17 says, I think the Titan suit you're talking about looks similar to the Raft front window and Raft like legs. Yeah, well, again, it's the Argo thing, so yeah, I wouldn't say it's not. If it comes out and it's Argo, I'm not going to go, oh, surprised. It's just the yellow.
If it came out and it was I won't say RSI, say Anvil, I'd be surprised.
I wouldn't even put Drake past it. It's bloody yellow.
Yeah, well, I can see, like I said, I could see the Drake kind of mule cabin type esque front. I could see the grey cat type style because of the lining. I could see Argo.
I think half the reason it's yellow is to hide what it is in a way, because if it had been orange, people would gone, what's that? Right? Like orange draws the eye more than yellow, and seeing it would have just made obvious that it was an Argo Titan suit. Again, if they're selling these things, aren't they going to come with skins as well? You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, and leaning into the power loader thing, that's also why it was yellow, because it had multiple alien references in that short segment. So, yeah.
Magic for Food asks if I'm going to be alive before Star Citizen is made. Absolutely.
We hope. We hope. We can live in hope. Yes.
I always live in hope. But yeah. We've answered that one. Mr. Knuckles, does the Reclaimer still get a skin even if it's not a winner? I think the top 4 get a skin, don't they?
Yeah, so it's got a skin. So let's have a look at that real quick so you can just see which ones are getting skins.
And if so, what do you think the colour scheme will be? Sorry if this was answered already. We haven't discussed it, but I thought the colour scheme we'd seen was... And I can't remember. So I'm not going to even try and remember.
We haven't seen a colour scheme, but you and I were talking about it. And again, knowing it's probably RSI this year, we went through and also Squadron. And knowing that they've been doing dual colours for the last few years, I would not expect, like, again, if I do this... so this is Squadron 42. No, damn it! I wanted Squadron42.com. Oh, is that it? Yeah, that is it. Is this gold and that green? Yep. I would not put it past that as the two colors.
Yep.
And knowing that, how good is that going to look on the F8? You get an army skin for an army ship.
Question for you: do you know? When you were pulling it up, you had the ship Showdown logo.
Yo. And
the colours in that logo, are they the same as they had last year? Is that just their standard ship Showdown logo?
That is correct.
Because if it wasn't, I'd be saying they're the two colours. But if it is, then...
In other news, water is wet. Algared, thank you very much for that informative piece of information. Thank you very much. Like it's like... The fact that you know how much of an eye for detail if I hadn't picked up on that by now,
that's why I was asking you.
It's almost insulting.
That's why I was asking you. No, because
I
pick up those things.
I pick up mistakes in other people's shit, and I say nothing about it, right? All right, so F8 Lightning is definitely one. So they're the 4 that are getting a skin. It's always you're trying to get the semi-final. Long story short.
Yep.
That's all you really care about. But they're the 4 ships that'll be getting a skin. The other thing, I don't know if it's ended. Are they still available in store, Algared, or have they yanked them all?
I couldn't tell you because I haven't looked. I was in the store earlier, but I didn't actually look to see if they were available.
Let me have a... No, I can't go to Squadron42.com. Oh, shit, I closed that now. I didn't want to close that, but anyway. Let's have a quick look. Ship upgrades will tell me. And we'll just do a Terrapin. That should tell me...
It's available.
Nope, it's gone. Damn. All right, so they're gone. But if you were savvy enough like me and you had a credit pool, What I did was I actually picked up the C1 and the Terrapin. So as soon as the first day of the sale rocks around, they'll give me the skins, and then all I have to do is melt those, use my buyback token, and get the F8 Lightning, and I will also have that skin that they'll apply at the end of the sale, and then I melt that, and then I'm back to where I started.
Yep. Well, I'm glad the Terrapin got one.
Yep.
I'm disappointed the 890 didn't get one, but the 890 couldn't have got one because it would have been up against the Terrapin anyway.
Yep.
But as we said at the time, I wouldn't have minded either or, but I'm glad the Terrapin.
Well, the way these things tend to go, Algared, in all the years we've done it, it's almost always one ship that hasn't had a skin before that gets up. So all we can do is now it's going to drag the Gladiator up there and the 890 up there, and I think that's about it, and then we're done. So. Yep. But the way things are going, I'm hearing. I got asked a question today. I'll have to tell you about later. But I think there's going to be competition for this next year, and I don't mean this. I mean this. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ship Showdown. Yeah.
Yeah. Community ship Showdown.
Well, that would be novel.
Yeah.
So yes, the Reclaimer does get a skin. Color schemes, don't know, don't care, but probably I would say RSI coloring if that's the theme for.
Yeah. Well, again, that's just what you've only got Specatory to go on at the moment. Yep. Knowing Squadron was is planned for this period. We also know RSI. I don't think it's a hop, skip, and a jump to think green and orange wouldn't be predominantly chosen, because gold is very much a very main color of RSI. Look, if you look at that logo up there on the top, it's got gold pieces in it. It's gold and white. Squadron is gold and green.
Yep.
That's where I'm kind of leaning. But they could make it yellow with purple polka dots.
Yep. Oh, that first skin was disgusting. And it wasn't yellow with purple polka dots, but it was magenta, and it was disgusting.
Yeah. Wait. Double check. Does the 85X have a skin, Algared?
No, I don't believe it does. Right, I could be wrong.
We got 3 ships added to the list then. So yeah.
Well, the 85X would be a nice one because it's also a very cheap ship.
You on crack? Have you had your ever crack today?
No, I probably
Dude, it's
haven't.
like $80 or something. It is not cheap. It is expensive.
Well, compared to other ships, compared to the Lightning or the or that new racer that they what was that new racer they put out?
The Took, yeah.
The Took, so in comparison, it's cheap. But yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know the other thing, Algared, is we need to start putting together a list of people that we want to get interviews with, because I'd love to sit down with the ship team and have it like we're going into this, Algared, going, this is our opportunity because we're never ever going to be here again, type of thing, to sit down and interview some of these people. And if they say no, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go, I'll rock up at their house. No, I don't know. But I'm going to find a way to get some interviews because that's what I used to do and that's what I want to do again. And I just, even if I'm not talking about the ship, I want to know about the people. Like one of the interviews that we did was, do you remember Gold Shirt guy, the Mark?
Yep.
And we didn't, a lot of the stuff we talked about wasn't even related to the game. It was actually like his work, his previous work. And the really interesting shit was finding out that he worked on all these cinematics at Blizzard, and they were some of the best cinematics that I remember, like the ones from Diablo and Warcraft and shit like that. And I'm just sitting there going, I didn't even know this guy did this shit. And I can tell you now, people like John Crew, we know he worked on the Lego games and stuff like that. So there's back history there that I want to know that leads into these people's experiences. I want to know about the people behind the game, not just what can you tell me about the game.
The one thing when we had the Bar Citizen Live at the online.
Yeah.
And
Brian Chambers
was there, and we were talking the green screens, not the green screen, the motion capture studio they've got.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh no, how's it?" And I said, "Oh, how does it stack up against Imaginarium?" And he said, "Oh, it's so much better." And then as he was talking about that, you actually realise that was something he'd actually done a lot of stuff in the past in terms of, and that was, you know, you don't. It's just those little nippets you learn from people as you're talking to them, and that was that was interesting.
And the side passions too. You learn that as well, like all the little things that are into it, and you can start to see, like, one of the things I know about John Crew, he's got a YouTube channel. I don't know if you know, what's it called? CrewTube, I think he calls it.
Yep.
But he has a lot of car stuff on there. You can directly see how that leads into the ships. Yeah. So, you know, there's a reason rhyme to all this, is what I'm trying to say. Like, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but that actually does help with speculation sometimes, because you can start to see the thought patterns of people and why they would lean into things. But yeah, I don't know. I digress. And I just really enjoyed interviewing people. It was a really fun time until it got crushed by certain content creators. So hopefully that after the game comes out, that comes back around again. And yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to get some interviews if we can, and if they tell me to go F myself, then yeah, whatever, I will. But I'm gonna try. Worst they can tell me is no. Yeah. Did you just fall asleep?
Yep. Nope.
You looked like I looked down and you just like.
Yeah, I was typing.
Oh, it's not that boring, Agrid. Jesus, come on. Right. Next question then, before I go fall asleep.
The next question was by Ernman420 and says, are there any popular musicians, bands in lore, and do you think at some point, well, the first part of that question is yes, there are. One that comes to mind is Gutter Trash, I think, or Gutter Wash. You can actually see posters for them at certain points in game. And there's 3 or 4 that I know of. I was actually hoping to be able to dig those up before we got to your question, but I wasn't quick enough.
What about the what about that really classy band, the Hurston and the Uwus? You know, I know that one.
Yeah, no,
really highbrow, like baritone type of soprano singing, a little off key, but you know.
No, but seriously, there is in lore. There are music bands. They're more punkish and otherwise. So could they, Ben, do at some point use the in-game convention, civic centres, etc., to hold in-game concerts as community event? They could, but that would be a long if. But we certainly do have in-game bands and musicians and entertainers that do stuff. So
I'm going to take that question there in chat, Algared, because I actually turned the bot off just before they sent it. But this one here, if you can see it on the screen, so it's by Deplorable Gaming. That says, CIG long time ago said 2 ships with pyro. One was the Crucible. Could it be one of the unannounced? I think the other was the Liberator. And I did actually bring this up with someone the other day. The Crucible I can kind of rule out because there's not enough repair mechanics there. And there's also shared mechanics with fabrication and base building. So possibly. I won't rule it out, right? But more likely, what are you going to get is a simple travel ship, and that is that not what the Liberator is? So I'd be more likely to say the Liberator, because there's no work that needs to be done on it. But if they've done it, they've done that in secret. But again, we've got no tip of the hat towards any Anvil ships being worked on this year. Now, could they have made that as onboarding 2.0 and they got all the people together that did the sabers and all that and got them to work on a big ship together in a team?
Yep.
Maybe. But you tell me, Algared, how complicated do you see the Liberator? I'd say the Crucible's way more complicated than the Liberator.
Oh, so yeah.
Because really, you've just the most complicated part would be the internals, obviously, but most of it's just a big open void. You've got the engine room down the bottom with the 2 corridors, and then the side. I feel like you're not paying attention, Agrid. Stop reading the messages. It's distracting.
No, I was just checking something. You just said they hadn't worked on an Anvil ship.
The Legionnaire was one.
But Terrapin is another one they've done some work on.
No, true. Shit, they did too. Oh, okay. Now we got President for Anvil. Oh, God. Right.
So they could have.
They did. They worked on the Legionnaire and then they paused it because the gameplay wasn't going to be ready. But we also know they've been working on the Terrapin because
we've got skins and they've done internal work on internals. So
shit. Maybe we're getting an Anvil ship at CitizenCon as a sneak peeky release. Look at they did talk about working on the backlog too, didn't they?
They did talk about working on the backlog.
And they also did say Liberator for Pyro.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know they said that for the Crucible, but do you really think they've got repair done that quickly?
If I could see them doing the Crucible, if they've actually been working on repair, and that's the thing they're going to be talking about in CitizenCon.
You know, they did engineering. So
I could see that as an outside, but I think it's a bit of a reach.
So for me, would you agree with me? Like if you had to pick in preference order, it would be Liberator then Crucible. If they're coming at all.
If they're coming at all, in preference, I think they'd want the Crucible with repair. But if I couldn't get repair done, then the Liberator's the easy one to do. So the easy one to do is the Liberator first, followed by the Crucible. Because
you know what I mean about low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
that's why I went. That's why I went Liberator than Crucible. But preference for us, we'd all want Crucible. Obviously,
I think even preference for them would be the one that's got the more gameplay. But if you can't get the gameplay, you go for the one that that's the easiest to do. Yeah. So in terms of that aspect, I'd go Liberator, like you're saying. But if they've been able to get repair stretched and done more, and now that I think of it, when I talked about those missions for the conflict resolution, there were missions where you go in and you have to salvage stuff to do stuff. So they're kind of linking that type of stuff in. So maybe. So
that's the other thing Critical Mass is talking about too. The Liberator is sweet, but they dropped the Drake competitor. That's the other thing. Like the Ironclad is just so much more appealing to me than the Liberator now. Because yes, it only does the ground vehicles, but it's focused. It knows what it's doing. It's not like changing its mind and changing its underpants every 5 seconds. Do I do ships? Do I do vehicles? I don't know. But it also tells me that is literally a ferry for jump points. Yeah, that is what that ship is for. It is to take the ships that can't go through the jump point, like the fighters and stuff, like that don't have the 100i, for example, does not have a jump drive. That's what it's for. That's why it's needed. I've just realized that is why Algared, they're releasing jump points.
Yep.
It makes so much sense. It has to be. Like, if an ambush ship's coming, it's got to be the Liberator.
Got to be the Liberator because they've been talking about jump points, and it's what we've always called it, the shipping ship.
Yeah.
You know, so how much ship could a ship if a shipping could ship? Yeah.
A lot of ship.
Yep, a lot of ship. And then if the Ironclad is the better ship, that's going to come later. So you want to get the Liberator before you do the Ironclad, and if the Drake's the next family of ships you want to work on, then
cart before the horse. Yep.
Yeah, you've got it. You've then got.
But there's no competitor to the Crucible, so that kicks it down the curb. You've also got you want base building because the base building then gives you you've got salvage and base building, so you can do repair. So it's the other side of the coin, and then you bring those two together. And it's like we've seen with them do with the ships. They make one and go up and down, or they make the ends and then move in. Yep. It's the same type of thing. You've caught up to where I'm at. I agree with you. I think it's got to be Liberator then Crucible. But if any ship is coming, it's got to be that Liberator because of the.
I think it's definitely Liberator Crucible. But I think if you're going, what do they want to have first? You'd want to have that gameplay. You'd want to have that extra stuff.
But what I'm telling you is because of jump points.
Because of jump points, they have to have a Liberator. Yeah, 100%.
Because other than that, you'd be chucking things in the back of the Polarises and stuff like that to take it across. Like,
and people will be doing that,
or they'll just be claiming them to Pyro to get them there.
Yep.
So it's not essential because I can see ways around it. Like you can just claim them there.
You can claim them. You could use 890s. You could use Crucible.
Well, here's another thing that you and I haven't even talked about. Can you start in Pyro? Yep. What are the starting landing zones in Pyro? Or stations or whatever. You know where I'm going though, right? So that so you log in and you go, oh well, I'm not going to start at Crusader. I'm going to start at pick your planet in Pyro.
I'm gonna ally myself with the headhunters and start at their main base.
It's probably not exactly needed. But if one was coming,
it'd be And you're right, it's not needed because you can use the Hercules, you can use the 890, you can use.
Oh, true. Yeah, Hercules.
You know, there are ships we can use to do that transport, but
I meant ship specifically, though. There's no ship transporter ship.
Yeah, but that is a ship that really is a shipping ship.
Yes,
primarily.
Yes, I'm just going to answer yes. Deplorable Gaming, yes, we will be able to claim ships from Stanton to Poro. But the bot's turned off, man, so your questions aren't coming through anymore. Because we've got like 7 minutes left and we've got like 6 questions. And if I don't get Algared out of here on time, he turns hangry. He turns into a pumpkin.
I do.
And the Uwu girls get mad if he's not back to bed in time. Right, the Woozer says, do you guys think the Gladiator will get a Mark II release before he gets a bloody better not gets a gold standard update? Keep up the good work. Man, we do not want to send a president for Mark IIs. We really do not.
Yeah.
And the kick back to the first one, if they do it again, we need to kick up again. But the problem is people keep buying them, so they'll keep doing it. That's just how it is. And unfortunately, you want to buy them because that's the ship you purchased and they updated them. It's almost like they're forcing you into paying the $50. And that's why I think it's such a bad taste. Because you want that ship because you bought it and now you feel you're compelled to upgrade because you want the best version of that ship. And you no longer own that best version.
Yeah.
You're okay, Agreed? It feels like...
Yeah, no, I was just scrolling back to read Austin Taish's comment because he said, I meant the F8A as a sorry for the late fall. So, so when
what was the original question
earlier, that's what I was scrolling up for. His original question was,
when will they get a
Polaris?
Polaris?
They will end the selling of the F7A. He meant the F8.
Okay. So will they resell the F7A? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, I think that's the question he was talking about.
So read the first question for me again.
So his first question was, do you reckon they will just end selling the F7A upgrade for the current F7C, given every trope they have broken already? I'm half expecting this year as a sorry for 4.0 being late, just like the F7A was sorry for late server meshing.
So he's saying an F8A military event. No, I don't think they'll sell that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I really, really don't. And could they? Absolutely.
Yep.
Should they? No. They've already broken so much shit this year. They've done a lot of stuff this year that they said they're never going to do, and they did. And we know why they're doing it. We all know they're trying to raise money to fund the marketing of Squadron 42. It's really obvious at this point. And if you disagree with us, please let us know in chat. We'll laugh at you. No, just kidding. But you get my point now, Grid, isn't it? Like it's it would seem very silly to release a ship and then 6 months later go, here, upgraded version.
Yeah. No, I really hope they don't do the Mark II type stuff.
Yeah. I hope they learned from that because, again, like you said, Algared, a ship that never really got its gameplay. And I could probably even say that with the F7C, but like the game was not really ever kind of released, so you never ever got to use that ship in its prime. Is the word I would use, the prime, like the dedicated gameplay it was built for, and they've just kind of left it as this secondary ship. Why?
Yeah, well,
no, update it.
Derek Masters' question, I hope you weren't already doing that, because if you were, I missed it. But his question was, do you think they'll make the tracker work before they bring our Tracker Mark II out? So it literally is feeding into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's really what I really hope, if they bring out a Mark II, when they bring out the Mark II tracker, they just do $0 upgrade. And give you a choice. If you want to, and I hope they make, but when they bring the Tracker Mark II out, if they've got the tracking and everything else working, that they've got the tracking working in the Mark I.
That at best, but at worst, a massively discounted upgrade, because it is in very bad taste. Those that have supported you for that long, and they brought it with good intent, and then with bad intent, you've gone, give me more money. And not just more money, too much money is the other part of it.
I can cope with it for the F7C and the F7CM, because be usable, if flyable, you can use their gameplay. But for the tracker and the Ghost, that to me feels they've never had their gameplay. And you could argue the F7C and the F7CM still haven't got their full gameplay because they don't have army yet. So that's my thought process on that.
I was actually just trying to work out what $50 is as a percentage of 185, because I'd just be, because I'm trying to, like, well, doing the rough math, that's almost not quite a third, but it's like maybe like a fifth. Oh no, sorry.
Yep.
You know, it's between a third and a quarter. Shut up, Google. Damn it.
And that's why he was mute. That's why he muted himself.
Yeah. Because I was trying to talk to her and get her to do it, but she's like, I don't know. I'm too damn stupid. I'm just a machine.
Here's a page I found for you.
Yeah. And you go, no. There's a reason why it's on a stand and it sits on the other side of the room. I'll leave it at that, because it would be on the other side of the room frequently. It would fly there. Or I'd put it on a big spring.
He just decided to leave it glued to the wall so that he didn't hurl it.
No, it's
part of the ball.
It's literally just out of arm's reach, so I've got to lean over to do it. I deliberately did that because I knew I would punch it, because it's when it talks when you're not talking to it. Anyway. Yeah. Right, 3 questions left. Shinobi Trip says, I agree, $50 is steep. Oh, because I was still on this. Right, but hasn't the Mark II Hornet been updated 2 or 3 times since 2.0? Definitely more than the other first 5 ships. I can understand why they charge Mark II $50. It's a bit much again. Yeah, $50 is too much. And again, a game in development is obviously going to have upgrades to ships. So again, it's all superfluous. Like, it's just, the final model that you get should be just before the game releases. Charging for an updated model is a bit disgusting, right? Yeah, it's in bad taste. Now, yes, they're making 2 variants that are going to go into the game. That's something they've made, but that's so they can charge for it. That's why they've done it. Because again, this whole year is about money raising to fund the marketing of Squadron 42, and that's essentially, if you look at them milking us to get money to market, it's a necessary evil because we all want the game to do well. Again, that's just sell a whole new ship. Don't sell. It shows me they just don't have enough to sell right now. But that's probably why they worked on more ships than they've ever worked on previous years, because they're going to make a metric shit ton at CitizenCon and AIE this year, because they're going to have so many new ships that people are just going to want to do this. Wait, hang on, I can do it. I don't even have to say it. Look, and just do this.
Just throw it.
This is going to fly out. Yeah.
Yeah, just throw money. Yeah, throw money at the screen. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep, so moving on, finally from the...
This is what real money... Should we show the Americans what real money looks like here? This is what real money looks like. It's not made out of cotton. It's made out of plastic.
Yep. Awesome, fantastic Uber stuff.
Yep.
And different sizes. What I love about the Australian currency opposed to American currency.
It's not just Australian. Even the Brits borrow our currency and they make their own. We sold them the tech.
The thing I like about certainly the Australian currency, I can't speak to the size of British, but what I like about Australian currency over US.
Zarek Masters said same, looks like Canadian money. Because guess what? Guess who took the tech from us?
Yeah, we developed that tech.
And we sold it to all of them.
But what I like about the Australian notes versus the American notes are all the same size. Great for storage. They're all the same colour. So, or feel like the same colour. So the greenback idea makes sense. They're all green. But identifying colours. But in Australia, for visually impaired, they're different sizes. So it actually makes it easier for visually impaired people to work out the size of the notes. And they're also brightly different coloured notes. So it really does help you not make those mistakes. I love it.
So let me show you this, Algared. This is Filipino currency, and even this is better than the American stuff. Because again, it's paper money, but look, blue, yellow, purple, like that's the problem with American money. It's all white and green. It seriously needs an update.
No, I get it. I get each country have their own and stuff and but we need a moderator to stay on track.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when we get tired, but yeah. All right, we've got 2 questions to go. Parker,
3 questions.
Do you think the RSI Lynx is exclusive or CIG's forgetting to put it in New Deal. Usually it takes a while. Like the Vulture took 12 months to get in game, and that only just went in this patch. So I would say within 6 months from now, or a little longer, and then it'll probably be in. All right, Algared, go for it.
And SA, thank you for the super chat. That's a $10 super
he's
chat.
back!
He says, hey, Ben, I'm back in the land of the living. Awesome to see you.
Good to see you, buddy. All right, stop. Get in Discord. Get in Discord. I want to talk to you as soon as the show's over. Get the fuck in here. I want to talk to you. Right.
But thank you for that. Most appreciated.
Good to see you back.
In answer to that question about the Lynx, A, there's part of that aspect, but B, you're talking in game. I originally saw that as in game packs.
Yep.
But it's if you buy the Phoenix in in there, you should actually. Oh, would you get the Lynx?
No, you don't. They're separate. They're separate in game.
Oh man.
Because it's technically they're a pack when you buy them. So yeah. Right.
Because when you buy a Lynx, you do get the. Oh, sorry. When you buy the Phoenix, you do get P72 and the Lynx as part of that ship, and that's part of that. In law, that is actually part of the bargaining with the ships. That's actually part of the ship pack when you buy it. So New Deal's obviously selling secondhand ships. Yeah. Very Hurston of them.
All right. Do you want to do the last question? I'm looking. The
last question is Rusty Pigeon Gaming. And Rusty Pigeon Gaming says, do you guys know why the AEU 2550 Explorer pack is gone from the list? Thanks for the content. Probably because they're updating it.
Yeah, they do update a lot of the packs around coming out for AIE, don't they?
Yep.
It's a usual common occurrence.
They often will remove a lot of the old packs and reprice them as well. And so packs will disappear and then come back with the updated pricing.
Yeah. All right. So
that would be my guess.
Before we leave, I do want to talk about. So next week we talked a bit about this week, Algared, but we're going to do the limited raffle next week. So we're going to talk to you about exactly what's in the raffle next week. There's going to be some ships. There's going to be some access to both Algared and mine's hangar. So as in when we talk about hangar, we should say buyback, not hangar, buyback, to get some of those rarer things that we have in buyback. And so basically there's going to be very limited tickets to it. We're thinking at the moment of probably only 100 tickets at $30 each. But we might talk to this to you guys as well. So depending on how many people are interested in this, so we might do, 200 tickets at $15, all right? But we have to, there's a couple of things we've got in place, but then we'll look at doing that. But these are some really rare items that you cannot get. One of the ones me and Algared were talking about, like, Algared, do you want to talk, because I don't want to put people, I know you were still looking about the ones you wanted to put in, but you did have, can we talk about the Caterpillar?
Yep. You can talk about the Caterpillar.
So tell people what you've got in there.
So in my buyback, I do have a LTI Pirate Skin edition of a Caterpillar.
Yeah. So that's the type of things to look out for. I've got some legacy packs. I've also got some rare skins. Algared's got some rare skins as well. So things like that. And so what it'll probably be is three access tokens that we'll probably put in the auction, and you can come in and there'll be a list of things that I have and a list of things Algared had that we're willing to separate with, and you can take one of those. You can say, that's the one I want. And in the order that you're drawn out, we're not going to give all of them. We're not giving all of them away. We'll just you get a token to pick the one that you want. And I guarantee you, if you win, you're getting your money back and then some. I'll just leave it that way.
The option for the buyback is, we'll give you the privilege to get it at cost.
Yep.
So,
rather than paying the exorbitant prices that some other people
pay on raffles. So
yeah. And also we'll probably have 5 ships there as well, and the cheapest ship will more than cover your $30 ticket. So put it that way.
Indeed.
All All right. With that, then we're going to road Loken. He's the only person that I can see that's on there, but he's also an Inforunner. Let him know that me and Algared are looking forward to having a drink with him at CitizenCon, and he's going to have to carry his weight because Paul and Space have pulled out, so he's got to pull out the red carpet, show us around the town.
That's right.
You know, the bells and whistles. You know, just giving him shit, but yeah, give him some shit too. Yeah. All right. With that, then I'm getting that ready. I should have pressed the button earlier.
You should have, but that's okay.
What's going on?
So that's the end of our questions. Don't forget, if you do leave questions on our certainly on our videos that we do on the Friday, or the videos we do during the week, certainly if we do a premiere on it, if you do ask questions, I will try to pull them out and chuck them into our stream to start our stream with next week, and that gives you guys a chance gives us a bit to get our juices flowing, and also a chance for you guys to talk.
All right, Twitch say goodbye to you. Blah, 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 blah. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. All right, and
they're gone.
Now they're gone. Right. All right. With that, then don't forget to oh god, I'm on the wrong computer.
Like, subscribe, and hit that bell because we love you all so much.
All right. Thanks for today. It was really good fun. I had a great time. All right. With that, then he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.